What's up, ladies and gents? We should be live now. Welcome. I'm your host, CenterStrain01, and I wanted to do this video because I get so many questions on all of the videos pertaining to Assassin's Creed Origins with my time with the game, and I wanted to take the chance and the opportunity to, let you guys ask those questions, and hopefully I can do my best to answer them. I will have gameplay thrown in the background for you guys of all the gameplay that I've done over in the Assassin's Creed Origins so far, up to this point. And this is just a chance for me to interact with you guys, because I know you got so many questions out there, and I want to answer them all. Everything that I can answer. There are obviously things that I can't answer that I know of that just... because of NDA and other things like that, non-disclosure agreement, I can't say. But there are a lot of things that I can, and a lot of explanations on what I think about the game, and of course just answering your random questions. So thank you and welcome everyone. So we're going to just start up. I'm going to put some gameplay up in the background for you guys. So if you have any questions, just go ahead and start, and then we will get this underway. So I'll bring up a video that no one's seen yet. Now, the audio in the background is going to be Assassin's Creed 2. I'm not going to put any of the audio in the video because obviously it has my commentary in it, and I want to commentate over that. So it's impossible to do that about when you have that. So let's get a video going on here. And I've got a bunch to choose from. One thing I'm so happy that I did was save every single Assassin's Creed. This is a video that I'm going to be putting up shortly that I actually forgot, believe it or not, to put up back when the game at E3, back when I had all my exclusive footage. For some reason, I forgot to put this this gameplay up. So I'm going to show it, but you won't hear the sound, and I'll kind of talk over it and answer your questions. What's up, ladies and gents? Welcome back. I'm your host, CenterStrain01. Alright, so let me... Hold on, I gotta transform it. There we go. Hey, you can see me. Okay. So, let's start answering some of the questions. This video, particularly that I'm showing, is a lot of gameplay using the Eagle and how you can manipulate the game and its environment, as well as take down enemies, distract enemies, and all that kind of stuff using the Eagle in general. So, alright, I've already got a crap load of questions, and I'll start off with Green Team. Did I dive into crafting at all? Is it really fleshed out, or is it a secondary place like in previous ACs? So, if I don't see your question, every now and then, not like spamming it, but every now and then, put it back on there to make sure that I actually get a chance to see it. So, answering Green Team Captain, who is a huge supporter of this channel, by the way. Thank you, my brother. Did I dive into the crafting? Yes, I did. Now, the crafting system, what's really cool about it is that it's all done dynamically in the environment. And there's all different kinds of things that you need to do in order to, say, craft a specific weapon, shields, all that kind of stuff. It's all done manually, except for when you go through certain quests or certain objectives, puzzles, and things like that, where you can actually pick up specific weapons that have a specific status, like legendary or things like that. And so you actually have when you go into the menu system, you have a thing in the bottom right that tells you, or when you go into your inventory and things like that, it specifically tells you what you have crafting. Like for this specific item, you're this far away from getting it from this specific thing, and there's different things you need to craft. Sometimes it's animal meat, other times it's different kind of items that you can craft that you pick up through your through exploring the world and doing other things like that. So the crafting system is definitely a part of the game. Did I spend a lot of time doing it? No, that's because I wanted to show more of the game itself than the actual crafting system. But from what I did get to play with the crafting system a little bit, it's very easy to use and it's very self-explanatory. You'll know what specific items will do what and what you need in order to get that specific item. So can I Elias Matt asks, can you travel to Greece? As far as I know, I don't know. My guess is, and I feel like this is what they're doing, and I've not asked anyone from the devs, but this is my own speculation. but I have a feeling we're going to be able to travel maybe in a flashback or a time forward or something. Besides the modern day, we're going to be able to travel possibly, and this is just a speculation, I have no idea if this is actually true, Rome. And the only reason I say that is because, spoiler alert, not really, because everyone knows by now, that Julius Caesar is in the game, Julius Caesar. So obviously he's, you know, from Rome. So I feel like if the game, maybe what they're setting up to is a possible sequel to this game being set in ancient Rome, which I think would be really, really cool. To have a setting in ancient Rome times, because you just, you know, to go around the Colosseum. Obviously, we've been in Rome already, but we've been in Rome in the 1500s as opposed to way back in the day when it totally looked completely different than what it looks now. So I feel possibly at the end of this game, there could be something that happens in the storyline that brings you to Rome. And the reason I say this too is because everybody knows that Cleopatra and Julius Caesar were both assassinated. And obviously Julius Caesar was assassinated in Rome, so therefore I feel like it could lead into that. There could be some type of, you know, a bridge. I don't know what it is. It could be in this game, it could be in the next game, it could be a nice way of going from one area to another. And it would also be like the first time in Assassin's Creed series where one game, okay, well, maybe not the first time since you've got Brotherhood and Revelations, but since Brotherhood and Revelations, the first time where you're actually going from one like game directly into another since the Ezio trilogy. And I think that would be cool to lead directly into, I would love to see, from what I've played, and it's around 7 hours of the game so far, I would say, between the total places that I've got to play. From what I played, I feel like this character of Bayek is developed a lot more than, say, some of the other characters, right? So we all know that we love Ezio. Ezio is my favorite Assassin's Creed character, and I'm sure he's most of your guys' favorite Assassin's Creed character as well. It's his story. It's finding out, you know, how you take him from pretty much as a baby, moving his arms and legs, you know, all the way up to the end of his days. So it was that story went along with the journey, and I think, and I would love to see them do this direction with Bayek, because what I've played with him, his interactions with people, his demeanor, the way, I don't know, just everything about him makes me feel like this is a character that we can actually get into again, which we haven't had that since Ezio, in a manner of speaking. Now, obviously, the Kenway family was a big one as well, but I feel like Bayek has that certain personality to him that I think is really going to set itself up for success, and I'm hoping that's going to be the case. So Claudio asks if I've only played this game in Memphis. No, I played the E3 demo as well, and that was outside of Memphis. The only big city that so far that I've got to take a chance at playing has been Memphis. Now, this city is huge, and a lot of the outskirts of the city were non-playable, right? There was a specific section where you couldn't go in and play, like couldn't go to a certain point, because obviously we got a tiny section of the demo. And even in that tiny section, there was so much area, so much square footage, that it would literally, if you were to walk from one end of the demo, and I never tried this, but after playing enough of it, I can get a kind of synopsis of it. But if you were to walk from one end of the demo to the other, it would take you a very long time. I don't know exactly how long, but it was a huge playable demo, and it was just one city. And it was just so expansive and so many things to do, and it was great. So let's move on, and we'll put up another video showcasing some new gameplay of the city. We'll do the free roam. I mean, I just talking about Assassin's Creed, just, I don't know. It does something. It just makes you so excited.
Memphis. It is beautiful, but it stinks of the battlefield.
All right, so obviously here is the you guys have already seen it. It's the gameplay that I've done from Memphis. So this is how we first started off. We were right in the water, and we went directly into the middle. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. I'm your host, CenterStrain01, to some more videos, exclusive coverage for Assassin's Creed Origins. This is that was probably really weird having that audio play, and I apologize for that. But you've seen trailers and everything of the different time periods that this city is involved in. So I have a feeling that we're going to be able to see some flashbacks of the city being made. I think the time is going to jump a little bit, like kind of how we had in Ezio's story in Assassin's Creed 2, where there was a jump in a lot of years. So we're going to like kind of see, obviously, Rome wasn't built in a day, Egypt wasn't built in a day. So I think we're going to have a little bit of jumping from back and forth to different time periods in the game. All right, let me get back to some more questions. Can you change Bayek's hair and beard? From Joshua King. The answer to that question is right now, I have no idea. I did spend some time in the inventory system, but there was nothing that had to do with changing anything to do with Bayek himself as a human being. Obviously, there was outfits that you could don, and you got those outfits by either crafting or finding a merchant in a city or any place like that. You go up to them and it costs money, and then you get the outfits that way. And I gotta say, I enjoy that so much more than the previous Assassin's Creed games, because everybody knows that in the previous Assassin's Creed games, take it like Unity, which had the most customization for your character. In the previous Assassin's Creed games like Unity, you just had to wait. You see a uniform, but you couldn't get it yet, right? Because you didn't have enough money, or you didn't have the, specific requirements. What I saw in the demo was that there were just a bunch of uniforms out there, and they cost a specific amount of money. How you get that money doesn't matter. There's no, from what I could see, there's no you have to wait till this story part of the game or anything like that. It's just if you have the money, if you've been going around doing side missions, doing regular missions, hunting, selling, trading, all that kind of stuff, then you'll gain money and you'll be able to equip yourself with different uniforms. Now, are those uniforms cosmetic only, or are they have something to do with adding like stats to your character? That I do not know either, because all we had was this outfit that you're seeing right now, and there were 2 other outfits that you could get. And from what I saw, they didn't really do anything to add some armor to me, and I might have to go back through my gameplay to double check, because I actually have the gameplay that I will show you when you're going to actually pick up the uniforms and when I'm going to a merchant. And I'll show you guys that in a few videos from now, and we'll go back into it. But for right now, on the top of my mind, trying to remember, I did not see anything that said this would give you more armor than another one, but I might be wrong, okay? It's just, I was trying to go through so much. Let's see what else we got. Can we fight with the hidden blade? No. And I think that's a good thing. The hidden blade should only be used in those situations that you're trying to be sneaky. A lot of people, what they did in the previous Assassin's Creed games, I did as well, was use the hidden blade as a main weapon. I think that took away from the funness of going out, exploring, and getting better weapons, right? Because everyone just uses the hidden blade, because you get the coolest kills, assassination kills really quick. But the weapons that you get are tied to, you can have 2 equipped at once. You can have a arrow type of weapon, bow and arrow type of weapon, and you can have a melee type of weapon. There are so many weapons. Oh, wow. So in the demo alone, I unlocked every single weapon that you could get in the demo. And there was, I want to say, like, I don't know, 10 different types of weapons that you could get just in the demo alone, where you had ones that were like bludgeoning tools, axes, spears, swords. Now, you can also change up the gameplay, right? You can either have double swords. So if you wanted to go in there, you wanted to have no shield, 2 one-handed weapons, you could do that. So 2 one-handed weapons, and you can block with the weapons as opposed to using the shield. Or if you had, like, say, a spear, then you would use your shield, and then you would have a spear, or the same thing like that. With a big axe, you obviously just use your axe, because it's a 2-handed weapon. So there's that 2-handed versus that 1-handed type of weapon. There were different types of bow and arrows. One bow and arrow is like your long shot, like your sniper bow and arrow. And in the sniper bow and arrow, obviously you're going to do a lot more damage, and you have a longer distance. My favorite that I got to use a lot was the Predator. The Predator bow was kind of like a rapid SMG bow and arrow. It was so cool. getting the chance to like to press that, to aim at your spot, and then even if you don't see that, what's great about it is for those people that are trying to take out enemies very, very quick, or there's a bunch of enemies surrounding you, the Predator bow is really cool because it allows you to take an enemy out very quickly. So I'd hold it down and it would do like 5 shots, like rapid. I mean, he was like boom, boom. I mean, this guy was like freaking from Lord of the Rings, you know, taking them out really quickly. And even though it wasn't doing a lot of damage because they're rapid shots, all that damage added up and it took him out like within a second. And there's a few videos that I have that I actually show that off when I'm going through the main mission and I'm doing a stealth section, and then I'm done with the stealth section and I go into combat, and then I rapid fire that Predator and take him out super, super quick. So lots of varied weapons, and I feel like this is one of those games where in the previous Assassin's games, it kind of didn't matter what weapon you had. Like, it was fun to collect the special weapons and to use them every now and then, but this game I feel like every weapon is actually unique in its own way, and there's going to have strengths to that weapon and weaknesses to that weapon. Now they're all based off of hit points now, so the game is an RPG, so if you're a fan of The Witcher, obviously you're going to be right at home here. So everything you use has a certain amount of hit points. Those hit points reflect on where you hit in the body. So if you remember, in all the Assassin's Creed games, hitting people was all canned animations. So if you just wait for a counter and then that was it. If you wanted to hit, it would kind of magnetize it to the nearest person. You would never be able to like swing a weapon at empty air, right? Because there was no such thing as empty air in the Assassin's Creed games. It was all magnetized towards an enemy. It was automatic. So in this game, it's not like that. All weapons are free. It's just if someone is standing inside of the blast of when you use your weapon, then obviously they're going to get hit. And depending on where you hit them, like say for bow and arrow things, obviously headshots are going to do way more damage. Also, which is new to Assassin's Creed, is taking out other extremities. So now you can actually say shoot arrows at the knee or aim lower or whatever like that, and you will be able to down an enemy quicker so that you can take them out while they're on the ground and go for like that kind of instant kill when they're on the ground. So you can do that. So I think that's a new addition that's pretty cool to the game itself as well. All right, so let's, does AC Origins feel laggy? No. And I'm thinking you mean laggy by does the controls feel like they're slightly behind? No, I got to say that this was one of the Assassin's Creed games where I felt like it wasn't slightly behind. We've had plenty of Assassin's Creed games where you felt like you would implement something, you'd hit the attack button or whatever, and it would take a split second to do it. I felt that this one was more realistic in any other way, that if you're moving in a certain direction, obviously you're not going to be able to just turn around at a moment's notice. It's definitely more realistic, but it's fast. So it's kind of like, all right, the game knows that you're preparing to be this badass assassin or whatever, and that it's going to make movement a little bit easier than it would in some of the other games, but it's definitely nowhere near as slow as it was in previous games. Now that I've seen how much the game has to offer, do you regret saying that you will do a 100? No, I don't, because first of all, let me say this: being a YouTuber in this day and age is so freaking tough. There are so many great channels out there that makes it hard to stand out, right? And I've always been one that loves to do walkthroughs. When I put a walkthrough out, it's a walkthrough. I am hopefully teaching you or helping you to figure out how to beat a certain section of a game. Like, for instance, my Uncharted collectibles guide on crushing walkthrough that I got going right now. That is specifically there to show you where all the collectibles are and to give those that want the challenge of figuring out how to beat these enemies on that difficulty setting, which is freaking ridiculously tough. I want that out there. And then you've got the other people that just do the Let's Plays that play it on easy or on normal because they just want to go through the game. Different types of people out there. So when I say that I want to complete 100% of everything in Assassin's Creed Origins, this is like the first time in my life that I've truly, truly meant that. And the reason I say this is because look at how much love and support from this channel that this game is getting, right? when I put the video out at 3:30 this morning, so we were allowed, the embargo lifted at 3:30 in the morning Eastern Standard Time. I told my wife, I said, look, you know, Uncharted: The Lost Legacy, those the views aren't really making that much. Nobody's really interested. And I was hoping that the Assassin's Creed videos would get people's interest again, you know, to come back more and more. And immediately when I woke up, I saw that the video that I put out, and I said, I'm just going to put out one, because I put out so many videos in the past few days that I didn't want to have the Assassin's Creed videos get lost in the struggle. So when I put the video out and I woke up and then I saw that it already had like 15,000 views, I was like, this is what you guys want to see. This is what's important to you. And I want to make sure that you keep coming back for what's important to you. So for me, this is one of those games that obviously is going to get a lot of attention on the channel, that's going to get a lot of you know, views. It's going to be popular, and it's going to be able to do well. And that's exactly what I need right now. I need a series that is going to stand out for me, to help me, you know, to keep this struggle alive for a living. So when I said that I'm going to plan on doing this 100%, I really am. This is the game that I'm going to show you every single little detail, because it deserves to be shown. Because I feel like this is the feeling for me when I was playing this was the same feeling I got when I plugged in Assassin's Creed 2 for the first time. Assassin's Creed 1 was amazing in its own right, but there's just too much repetitive gameplay in it that it just lacked that evolutionary step forward, a little ahead of its time. But I feel like in 2009, when Assassin's Creed 2 came out, it was ready, and everything felt right, everything clicked, and you really felt like you were in the world. So this is a game that I think that's going to do the same thing. And I know people are going to say, well, that's because they're paying you, or that's because, you know, whatever. No, Ubisoft doesn't pay me crap. It's not like I have a thing with Ubisoft where they just give me money. No, they do invite me to these events. They allow me to play their games early, to show them off. So if I'm getting invited out from a company to show something off to you guys, I'm going to show everything about it. I'm going to show its downsides, if there are, and I'm going to show its upsides if there are. I want it to be non-transparent. But again, I always try to look for the positive. Sometimes the smallest thing, like I know there were people on the first video I put out complaining about how like Bayek runs through a rope. If there's like a rope holding a tent up and he runs through it. That does not take my immersion away from a game. And it's such a small thing that it doesn't affect me at all, but it affects some of you. I don't understand that, but I get it. I get that you guys want your games to be perfect, but I also understand that this is hundreds of people that are making a video game. So think, you have 100 minds in a circle, right? How are you going to get every single mind tuned to every single thing? It's impossible. There are going to be bugs. There are going to be... It's just going to be all kinds of crazy things, especially when you develop for an open world game, which unfortunately, and I hate this, all games today, they're wanting to go open world. Stop. I want that linear experience that is polished, that is beautiful, that is story driven. I want that back. But unfortunately, everything changes with time, and it seems like, well, times are a-changing. So we obviously got to move forward with it, and we get these big open world. So there you go with that. Is there any romance in the game? Any romance? So you do have your wife is in this game, I guess. And this was the first time that we got a chance to see her. Obviously, we're going to see more of that story unfolding as we go through. You saw that in the mission that I just put out with Cleopatra. She is actually one of Cleopatra's like kind of bodyguards. So I want to see how that's how you meet Cleopatra. That's how you get into that kind of world. So I'm interested to see how that kind of goes into it. And I think they're doing a great job at showing or bringing Bayek into that history, right? They're giving a reason for him to meet her, not just saying, well, we're in this history, let's find a way to do it. No, it seems like, okay, because his wife is her bodyguard, and that's how it goes. So it's kind of more believable that they're doing that. So I do like that. There is horse combat, yes. And you can do it all from your horse. You've got arrows, you've got melee combat. Everything can be done from your horse, which is pretty cool. So you guys want... Okay, I'll talk about some of the tombs. You're seeing it right on screen here. this is not even a big tomb. This is just a small pyramid. There is another pyramid that I'm going to show that is way more detail and actually goes underground through a lot of different areas, that has puzzles, that has all different kinds of things that you have to figure out in order to continue on. And I will show you that in a future video. But going through them, there are a lot of, now you'll notice here, like, you don't think you can move forward, but you actually can. There are secret paths, like a button here or there that you have to place in order to do it. You have to do one thing on one side through a hole in order to open up the other side, because something is blocking the way. There's different, you know, different things and again, I only got to mess around with 2 pyramids in the demo, and we didn't do any pyramids in the first gameplay that we got to do. And the big pyramids were out of reach of the demo, like the ones where they had the viewpoints and other things like that. But one of these pyramids was a very deep cavern kind of hidden place. There was also other things in the direct city. So there was, if you were in the water, and then you could actually go underwater into this hidden place, and we got a huge reward for this. It was so cool, and I can't wait to show that. But I'm just trying to slow the videos. I don't want them to come out too fast, because I want to make sure that everyone gets a chance to see them. So there's going to be so many more videos of all the footage that I did. Again, when I went there to the event, they had a bunch of games around. Okay, they had Ghost Recon, they had Rainbow Six, they had Far Cry 5, Assassin's Creed Origins, they had Mario and Rabbids, they had Transference. They had all different kinds of games that you can play. And I just said, listen, I love you, Ubisoft, but I'm here for freaking Assassin's Creed and a little bit of Far Cry. So I spent about, and let me get another video going. I spent about, I want to say, an hour playing Far Cry 5 because obviously I'm interested in Far Cry. I love the Far Cry series. The game looks great, feels great, but there are a lot of things that they need to work on, and that's especially the aiming, the stealth, and the things that make me love the series. So hopefully they get into to fixing that. All right, let's get another video up here. Let's see. Let's do... We'll do my Viewpoints video. All right, so let's keep going on with some of the questions that you guys have. Glad to have you here, Caesar. Thank you so much. Any present day detail? Unfortunately, I can't tell you anything about the present day yet. But of course, I wish, but I can't. So I love you guys, and I know you're so interested into seeing how the present day is going to unfold. And yeah, so that's all I can say. Is the climbing buggy? The climbing, there's always going to be a sense of bugginess in you dab in Assassin's Creed. I dab. No, but there's always going to be a sense of bugginess when you have an environment that you can literally do anything with, when you can climb any type of environment. And in this game, more so than anywhere else. I mean, everything can be climbed in this. Even if it's the smallest little ridge that he can get his hands on, you can climb. So, yes, there is a slight thing, like when you're trying to, let's say if you have... you're climbing here, and then there's a ledge here, and there's another open area here, and then there's more climbing. If you're climbing here trying to get to that ledge, sometimes the game can think that you're doing something else. And I think that that's a small thing, and I think that that can be patched out. But the climbing was the fastest that I've seen it so far. Like, he didn't... In retrospect, there was a few moments where he would struggle in climbing to give that realisticness, but everything felt real. What's really, really cool is they've kind of implemented all of the unlockables for climbing that you could do in the previous games. Like, you remember in Assassin's Creed 2, you had to go to a certain story mission to be able to climb higher, right? Or in Assassin's Creed 1, once you did a specific assassination target, you could start to grab something higher, right? Well, here, it's like, it's based off of realisticness. So when you're climbing the periods, if you have a long distance between one pyramid or one place that you're climbing and the other, well, you will literally like try to pull yourself up. So you'll jump as hard as you can, and you'll try to claw your way up to the next point. And if you get there, you got to grab it. If you don't get there, or if you get there and you don't grab it, you'll fall, and then you'll slide down the pyramid. So you'll notice towards the end of this video, it was taking me a little bit of time to climb the pyramid. That's because every single time you got to hit it and you got to grab. It's not automatic. The only automatic ones are the ones that are within reach. But if it's one that you actually have to leap into, then it's out of reach, and you will not be able to grab it unless you'll not be able to actually get it unless you grab it. So it's pretty cool how that actually works, and I really enjoyed that. And as you can see, it's pretty quick. I mean, this game, it's not bullshitting around. It's not going to take you forever to climb something. If you have the layout and you know where to go, it's going to be seamless and smooth. And that's what we want, right? Someone's asking about the snake, the giant one. I didn't see any giant snakes, but I've got a few videos coming up of some snakes in general, and they can be bothersome because they will attack you, they will poison you, and they will kill you. There is most of the encounters that I had with snakes were in the desert, and they were in the pyramids as well as in the hidden tombs. There would be snakes guarding treasures and things like that. I'm talking like freaking 20 snakes like around this treasure, and you couldn't just go through because you would die in a second. So you had to take out the snakes, man. And what's really, really cool is that your torch, fire, is one of the ways that you can do it. So not only do you have your two main weapons, your arrow, bow and arrow, or whatever melee weapon that you have at a time. Now, here's the other thing. Even though that you can only have two specific weapons equipped at a time, meaning that if you look on the character right now on Bayek, you'll see that he has his bow and arrow on his back and his sword on his side. Those are the two weapons that are currently equipped, that at any moment you press the RT on the Xbox One X controller and he will swing his sword, or the L or the RB. So RB would be your, and I'll get a controller to show this. So showing this is RB. RB would be your light attack, so it would be your fast attack. So you want to attack quickly, this one would be it. Then RT would be your slow, hard attack to do more damage. Now you could charge up your slow, hard attack to be able to break people's shields, to be able to do really, really big hits, cinematic hits, and things like that. You would hold down the RT, and then you would release it at a certain time. Some weapons utilize this in a really, really, really cool manner that you would be able to like do some combos. So you would do some quick hits followed by a charged heavy hit, and you take them out like a freaking boss. And it was great. And some weapons had different animations for different things, which added a lot to it as well. So yeah. And then on the other side, obviously you have your bow and arrow. If you wanted to use your bow and arrow, you just hit the LT, and obviously you'd start aiming, and then you would click the right trigger to do it, because it kind of go into bow and arrow mode as opposed. But you actually technically have five weapons equipped at once. And what I mean by this is you'll have a meter down at the bottom right, or bottom left and bottom right. And on each side will have two weapons chosen. You'll have two bow and arrow weapons and two melee weapons chosen. And then you have a third by holding down the selection for the melee weapons, and then you'll bring up a torch that you have automatically at any time you want. So when you go into pyramids or dark places, you have a torch. Those torches can fend off. You can use them to light enemies on fire. You can use the torch to light your bows on fire. You can literally take the torch out, light it up, put it on the ground, aim your bow, and then point it down at your torch and light it, and then use that to do heavy damage to a group of enemies and different things like that. So that's really, really cool. And think how much has to go into just doing something as simple as that. There's a lot of coding and a lot of things that needs to go into to make everything you have useful in every type of situation. So if you had a bunch of snakes in your way and they were, guarding away, you could throw your torch at them and it would, they'd hiss at you and stuff like that. So yes, exactly. Remember, I played a demo, not the full version of the game. So I'm just kind of telling you what I've seen in the demo versions that I've played But obviously things are so subject to change. So here, as you can see, you got to actually press it. As all the times that I'm going up and down, that's because it's not as easy to. You actually have to make sure you press the grab button in order to grab the specific area that you're trying to reach to. It was really, really fun to slide back down and to try to grab a hold of something else. I got to say, that was pretty cool. As far as controlling lions or other animals, except for the horse, camels, and the different ones that you can ride, I do not know if you can ride an elephant or something like that. We didn't get a chance to see any of that. Did I try hand-to-hand combat? There was no hand-to-hand combat. From what I saw, you always had a weapon. Now, I never unequipped my melee weapons to just have my hands. So I can't tell you whether or not there was actually any hand-to-hand combat, because if you have a weapon, you will automatically use that weapon that you have equipped, and you'll always have one or the other equipped. So as far as that goes, I can't tell you if there's any hand-to-hand combat. All right, let's bring another video up. Let's see. Hopefully you guys are enjoying this, trying to answer, and I'll be here for a little while answering these questions. So if you have stuff that you've been wanting to know, please let me know. Let's go to... All right, let's go to the arena. This is one of the things I'm so excited about. What's up, ladies and gents? I'm here. Because the videos are in 4K, I have to shrink them because in OBS I'm only streaming this at 1080. So as you can see, we've got a big, huge weapon, right? And he's got his shield that's on his arm, okay? So those are heavy, heavy hits. So there I'm charging it up. But as you can see, if you're charging up your weapons, then it's going to take a lot longer to hit, and they usually have a good chance of hitting you. A lot of people aren't excited and aren't happy about the animations of the dodging, right? As you can see, once you have a character locked on like this, then everything you do is a strafe around them. It's like a circle strafe. Your dodging will always go in a couple of directions, back, left, or right. And you can dodge forward too. The cool thing about dodging forward is it gives you a unique attack for dodging forward and hitting as well. So, yeah. As you can see, you've got all different types of enemies. The big brutes, those are the big guys. They attack a lot slower than the heavier guys. But you see the guy with the big shield, right? Him, you're not going to be able to take out as easy because the only way you'll be able to take out is if you do a heavy attack charge. Now we've got a kind of aggro little meter with the RB and RT. That is not an instant kill, but what it is it does take a lot of damage. So my suggestion for when you actually have the aggro meter up is you want to make sure that whatever enemy that you decide to use it on, make sure they have a little bit lower of health. Because what it's going to do is then you'll get the animation for actually, you'll kill them outright as opposed to just being able to hit them and do a lot of damage. So, all right, let's get to some more questions while we got that up there. Weather system. The weather system was dynamic. We would have... now, the game purposefully, the demo itself wanted you to be in sunny environment. So you yourself did everything in a sunny environment. But the demo system will have rain, it will have dust storms and all that kind of stuff because you are in Egypt and all that, and it will have nighttime. So I purposefully knew about the nighttime because I did it in E3. I wanted to show you guys everything. So they changed the nighttime around a little bit this time. They made it to where you hold down the back button in the demo that I had. So the demo that I had, you hold down the back button and then it would go up and then it would switch to nighttime. So then you'd have nighttime gameplay. Now, a lot of people were upset. They felt that it was just too bright. I didn't mind it, and that's because it's a video game and I want to be able to see where I'm going. This is not a horror game. This is not like where light and dark mean everything, right? Adds to the experience. I don't want a completely dark game when I'm going around traversing the city at night. I want the lights to shine around me, and I want it to be a little bit light. So I was happy with the way the nighttime gameplay was, but I know a lot of you guys out there weren't. And I think it'll change your mind once you actually see see it, it'll change your mind a lot on that. So going back to the arena here, it's going to be a part of the story. So the arena will be a part of the story. It's, you're going to go up probably early on. You're going to go into it, and you're going to do a couple arena matches for one reason or another. I'm not sure. And then it's going to be open and available to you at any time. There's going to be more than one, okay, arena. And the cool thing about it is, and I'm just speculating here, but I really, really think there's going to be chariot races. The reason I say this is if you look at this, at one of the cinematic trailers that played not too long ago, we saw people riding around in chariots, around in a circle like it was an arena. So if they do that, I am going to be just, oh my gosh. And I feel like that's actually going to happen. As far as a ranking system for arena, I'm not really sure about that, but there is a ranking system as far as level goes. As you can see, the main bad guy, he's level 25, and he's a boss character, which is why he has like the king thing icon above him. So he's going to be a lot harder to take out. Let's see some more questions. Did I notice any bugs? Obviously, there was little bugs, little things, but there was never a single bug that I had that felt like it was game breaking or immersion breaking. And I never really had any of those in Unity as well. I know a lot of people did, but if you go back and watch my walkthrough, you'll see a few bugs here and there, like pop in, pop out, things like that. But I never had the problem where people's like faces would disappear and you just see their eyeballs and things like that. I never had a problem with that. As far as a beard, customizing Bayek, as I mentioned earlier, nothing as of right now that I've seen. It would be cool to be able to add a beard to him, but I don't know if there's going to be anything like that. We never got into any customization as far as the person of Bayek. Only the clothes that he wears, the weapons that he has, and things like that. So, how does Sinew control? To be honest, Sinew controls kind of weird. Not in a bad way, but not in a way that I was like tremendously happy with. And I'm going to bring up another video here. Sorry, this takes me a little time. Let's do... We'll do this one. What's up, ladies and gents? CenterStrain01, your host, back with the final main mission for... Alright. So, Sinew. So, obviously, Eagle Vision is gone. You're not going to go into this, like, weird-looking vision mode where everything changes and you can see everything around you. You have Sinew now. Sinew is the original Eagle. So, think of it as every assassin from this point on inherits that Eagle's vision, kind of. And that's where it kind of evolves from. Now, how that plays into the story, I would love to know, and I can't wait to find out, because I think they're going to show that. They're going to explain why Sinew is an actual eagle and why he's in the story and all that stuff. So I'm really happy about that. But as far as how to use it, the only reason I say it's a little weird is that on the controller, like pressing forward doesn't make you go forward, pressing back doesn't make you go back. What it does is it makes you go forward is up, or depending on if you have inverted, forward and back, or up or down, and then left and right. In order to actually move forward, it kind of does it automatically. You can stop yourself by holding the LT, and you'll kind of stop, and then you'll focus on a point, and then you can, you know, mark enemies and things like that by focusing on a point. And then RT allows you to speed through there a little bit faster. So, hey, Merc, what's going on, brother? It allows you to speed through a little bit faster. So RT will get you like going. And here's the thing. This is what's really cool. This is an open world game, meaning that this whole environment is open from the beginning. You can literally take your Eagle from one point of the map completely to the other point, and no load times, no nothing. That's it. You can just spend like hours just circling with your bird, with your Eagle, looking at the environments from high up and things like that. You don't have to, like, there's not like a meter that says you're going to be out of range. It's it's all over. So your bird is pretty much its own character in the game, and it doesn't require you to be in a certain distance. As far as I know, there's no multiplayer. They went strictly for the single player experience, which I think is nothing but a good thing, because as much as I love the Assassin's Creed multiplayer experiences, and I do miss it, they need to focus on getting the single player portion of this right. This is a beautiful world. This is a beautiful universe, and I feel like they need to focus on single player and not try to shoehorn in a multiplayer. So I'm glad they didn't do that. Yes, there's going to be legacy costumes. Obviously, there's going to be those in there. They're probably not going to be completely available. Remember, this is the first that we've heard, so I don't know how they're going to implement that. If they're just going to let you have the outfit of Altair for some reason, how are they going to implement that into the story? I know it's not going to be a story element, but if you remember in Assassin's Creed 2, if you wanted Altair's outfit, you actually had to do a specific thing, and it was story related, right? But in the future ones, if you wanted a specific outfit, you had to have a certain amount of coins or whatever to get that specific outfit, things like that. But it also made sense because it did everything from the past on. But this time, you're in the very beginning. So how do you implement an outfit in the future, and how do you make the characters react to that outfit that looks out of their time? I don't know how they're going to do that, but it'll be interesting to see how they do. Any ship combat? There was no ship combat that I saw. You can get on ships, but there was no ship combat. There was like weapons on ships and things like that, like strongholds that you had to get on ships and take everybody out with big guns and things like that. But you couldn't man a ship and go out and do like naval combat. So if you're looking for that type of gameplay, continue to play Assassin's Creed Black Flag, or take a look at their upcoming game called Skull and Bones, which I will have plenty of footage on in the near future. So, sorry, shameful plug there. Shameful, bad stream. Quality or quantity so far? Definitely quality for me. There's a lot to do, don't get me wrong, but the quality so far has been amazing. A lot of people are saying that the game doesn't look as good as, say, Unity or things like that. Well, you have to understand what this game is and what Unity was. Unity was utilizing an engine for the first time, but that engine only had the specific area that it was covering. This is now an open world game. Okay, so take that in mind, that when I say this game is graphically beautiful, yes, it truly is. But is it going to look better than a game specifically centered around a smaller area? No. This game has amazing graphics for the amount of space and what you can do in its environments. You have to be able to bridge, you have to be able to find a center section in order to make that smooth as possible. Sure, glad to answer your questions. Are there any micros with loot chests or like in Shadow of War? I know everyone's getting so upset because Shadow of War is going to have microtransactions. But you got to remember, and I'm upset too, because I don't want a game to be shown off like, hey, I'll get the best weapon if I just pay for it. I do think that's kind of a cop-out. But in its defense, I will say it's optional. Yes, you're going to have to grind like a crazy man to get those weapons in Shadows of War. But it's not going to detract the game from me. I'll work my ass off to get that specific weapon, and I'll feel more empowered by doing it. But as far as microtransactions in Assassin's Creed, none. There was no indication of anything that said, purchase this or purchase that. Now, I don't know if they did that specifically because it was a demo, but from what I've seen, no indication that there are microtransactions. Nothing. No, like, chests that you have to pay if you want to be able to get into, or things like that, like Unity had, in the beginning. Although those were taken out after the game launched because people complained so much. But no indications of that so far, so that's good. Know-how, I understand what you're saying, and I understand probably English is not your first language. So, but what you're probably trying to say is, can Sinew fight and actually be like a real character? The answer is yes. Sinew can distract, Sinew can fight, Sinew can do that stuff. And I'm guessing you're going to have the option to be able to make Sinew even more badass, right? Like be able to mark enemies at a longer distance and things like that. But as you can see here, in this gameplay here, there's no option for it. Like if you look at the bottom, it doesn't say, it just says boost, stationary, set marker. But in the new demo that I played, there was more options for sinew. There was actually distraction options where you can get certain enemies to go over in different places. You can attack enemies now. So they're really, really starting to come to an end, to a closure of what they want for every single item in the game. So really cool about that. Will there be a lock-on button for combat? Yes, there is a lock-on button. There is a lock-on mechanism that will allow you to lock on to enemies so that you can strafe around them and specifically fight a specific enemy and things like that, which is going to come handy because in order to really, really be able to utilize the parry system, you're going to want to lock on to an enemy. So you lock on to an enemy, and as soon as he hits, you're going to hit, at least for the Xbox One controller scheme, you're going to hit the B button as soon as he's about to hit you, and you will shield parry, which will stun your enemy and give you a chance to go in for an attack. You can actually pull off multiple parries. It is an unlockable skill. The skill tree is very massive, it's very huge, and there are a lot of things to unlock. And you have 3 sections, which dwindle down to using like a warrior, stealth, and other types of stuff. So you'll have stealth options. You'll like say if you want to assassinate 2 targets, you'll be able to do that. And it's not like assassination. It's not like assassinate 2 targets at the same time because you have 2 hidden blades. You don't have 2 hidden blades, but what you got is like these daggers. So you'll go up to a guy and you'll assassinate him with your hidden blade, and immediately you'll throw a dagger at the other guy and he'll be dead. That is your double assassination, and it'll be used in different ways that you can do. When I played the first demo, I did a double assassination my own way because I didn't have it unlocked, where I was above 2 guys and I did a long arrow shot on one guy and immediately dropped down and assassinated the other guy. Double assassination. So you could still do double assassinations if you're quick enough. So it just depends on how you utilize everything that you're using, and hopefully you'll be able to come up with your own solutions. But yes, you will be able to unlock certain abilities like the parry and other things, getting more money for crafting, other things like that. There's all kinds of options to show into the inventory and the upgrade skills section, and it branches. So you'll unlock one thing, and then that one thing will branch off into like these 4 other things, so you can really, really set your play style the way that you want, which is pretty cool. My wife is doing good. Thank you, Mr. Knight. How is the desert? We all want to know if it's empty or full with things to do, Mika asks. The desert is like you would expect a desert. Now, if you look, I'm in the desert right now. You can see, right? Sometimes you'll see little forts that we just saw in the desert there. Other times you will see like ruins, which will have like secret entrances to temples and things like that. That might be guarded by snakes, by bears, by other animals. The desert will have stuff to do. It won't be just plain. But you got to expect a desert's going to be a desert. It's going to look barren, but you have to find the secrets. And that is what it's all about. That's what it's all about, guys. Always be explorative and find everything that you can find. Don't look at a book by its cover. Don't expect because you see empty land that there's nothing to do. Look, and I promise you're going to find something that's going to interest you and be enjoyable for you. Why are you answering these questions and not Ubisoft? They do, but you got to remember that Ubisoft wants their questions answered by huge, big people. Like say IGN gets all this first coverage and all these interviews and things like that, right? That's because they have so many millions of subscribers, and that's how they get it out to the masses. Obviously, I could interview the devs, but I choose not to because, for one, I'm not very good at interviewing people in general. I get like kind of I'm not always sure what to ask, and things like that. And I'm afraid that if I ask questions that they can't answer, then I just wasted my time. So I get everything I need from the gameplay itself. Now, there'll be times where I was sitting down playing and I would ask a developer that was behind me watching something specific. And then when I asked that, that's kind of me finding out if you can do one thing or another. That's how I found out that you can't assassinate people that are more than like 4 or 5 levels above you, that it'll do damage to them and you'll go through the animation, but it won't actually kill them outright because of the new hit point system. So you got to ask the questions. I ask the questions, but I don't really do interviews. So I will be showing some of the outfits in a video that's upcoming, so don't fret. There wasn't a lot to show in the outfit section. It was only just like 2 different outfits besides the one we had here. So we didn't get to see a lot of it, but I'm assuming there's going to be a lot more variety and stuff like that. So sprint movement parkour controls, have they changed, and have they changed for the better? So as everyone knows now, I'm sure, sprinting is no longer something you have to do by holding down the RT button. Now it is all specifically on the controller on the left thumbstick. So this, moving it up, will always push you forward in the fastest way. So slightly moving it up will obviously make your character walk. So if you want to run, push up. If you want to free run, push up and then hold down A. You can hit A if you want. There's only one specific thing. But if you want to free run, do all the cool parkour moves and things like that, then you want to hold down A. A is your jump button, but it's also your context sensitive, where anything's around, you can do it. So if I were to just run up to a ledge, it wouldn't automatically grab it. You'd have to hit A or hold A to continually climb up it, and like that. And the same thing applies for when you're going down an obstacle. If you want to fast travel down something, you need to hold B, because B is your kind of like fast travel down. A is your fast travel up. Think of it like that. Will I be ordering Project Scorpio, and do I think it's worth the money? I will not be. I'm sorry, but I don't have enough money. YouTube has not been very kind to me this year, with all the ads and all the stuff going away. So mainly because of that, I probably will not be getting an Xbox One X. Most likely you'll see this game from me played on PC in 4K, or maybe even an ultra wide, depending on what you guys want. And I'll make videos of that saying, hey, what do you guys want to see? Do you want to see it in ultra wide, cinematically, or do you want to see it in 1440? Because I can't do 4K because I got an ultra wide screen. And ultra wide is 4K, but it's a different type of 4K. So unless somehow I'm able to get one early, I don't know if I'm going to get one, at least now. I don't make enough money right now, unfortunately. YouTube is kind sometimes, but the past few months have been really, really rough, and I don't have enough Patreons to warrant to get that. I mean, they help me out so much with bills and stuff already. So if you haven't become a Patreon, look in the description below, and either donate via StreamJar or become a Patreon, whatever, to help me to be able to keep doing this, because it means a lot to me, and I want to be able to keep going to these events. And the only way that I'm going to be able to do that is to be able to keep this YouTube channel going, because Ubisoft's only going to want me around as long as I'm able to bring these videos to a mass audience. And in order to do that, I need to continue to have an audience, and I need to be able to continue to do this. So if you like what you see, think about donating or becoming a Patreon. It's all up to you guys. But thank you for all the support anyways. I mean, that means a lot to me, for you liking the videos, commenting on all the videos, watching the videos. It all helps out in tremendous ways. So I think that's going to be it for this video, and then we're going to move on to another one. I love that. Look at that. Look at that. Oh, that is so beautiful. That's just a small little itty bitty city. What I'm so excited of, and I think I'm going to be able to see it soon, is there's going to be another upcoming event sometime. I don't know exactly when, but I know there's going to be a specific event for Assassin's Creed that I'm going to be able to go to, and I'm going to show you. Hopefully, they're going to show off Alexandria, and so that is something that I'm truly looking forward to. All right, let's get another video on there. It's a great time to be an Assassin's Creed fan. It really is. Let's do the nighttime gameplay. What's up, ladies and gents? CenterStrain01, your host, and welcome back to some more coverage of That Is Right. All right. So hopefully you guys are enjoying, and hopefully you're getting something out of this. Let me see some more questions here. Does the game, this is from Bruce, does the game feel fresh and fun, or is it just another open world RPG? This game feels fresh and fun. It's hard to make a game feel fresh when it's open world in so many And I'm really pissed at Ubisoft for doing this because it seems like every game they're coming out with is open world now. Every single game. And hopefully they'll get away with that, because whenever they finally come out with Splinter Cell, I don't want it to be open world. And I swear to you, if it's open world, that's going to be my biggest complaint, because I want that linear, polished experience. But in Assassin's Creed defense, it's a game that feels like it can work in open world, as opposed to some other games that feel like it's just shoehorned in there. Like say Ghost Recon Wildlands did not need to be. Ghost Recon ghosts are you don't send a ghost operative or a Navy SEAL into a freaking country and have them run around the whole country. That's not how it works. You send them in, you get them into a specific area that they're going to infiltrate, and then they infiltrate, and then that's the area that they work in. They don't go and travel from one area to the next in 2 seconds. That's not how it works. I felt like in Ghost Recon, it just was shoehorned in there because they wanted to cash in on the open world experience. But I feel Assassin's Creed works in this regard, because in Assassin's Creed, you're going around to many different cities, and there's a purpose for it. You're doing assassination missions from one to the other. It worked perfectly when it was in just one big city, but you got to remember that back in the day, they didn't have cities like they have now, where they're huge, massive like areas to go around. You're going to get these types of smaller cities where you're going to feel like this type of traversal feels like it fits better than a lot of other, open world games. What's my opinion on the stealth? Let me get a drink here real quick. So, stealth. My opinion on stealth is pretty much this. It needs a little more. Because it's going into an RPG, and everyone knows that there's really no stealth in The Witcher 3, and everyone uses The Witcher 3 as a basis for RPGs from now on, especially Western RPGs. The fact is, there is stealth in here. All the stealth that was... I'm not going to say all, but most of the stealth that was in the previous games is back. First of all, crouch button. Shame on you, Ubisoft, for not having a crouch button until Unity. What the... WTF were you thinking? Assassin's Creed has always been touted as an assassin game and a stealth game, but yet they didn't implement a crouch button until Assassin's Creed Unity. Go fig. But anyways... there is a crouch button in here, and it works just like you would think it should in a stealth game. Now, I can't remember 100%, but was there a crouch button in The Witcher 3? I cannot remember. I do not think there was a crouch button in The Witcher 3. So I think the Ubisoft knows that this is an Assassin's Creed game, and they don't want to go away from that. So... with that being said, there's the crouch, there's the assassination of targets. There not only can you crouch, but there also are still those places that you can sit in, like high grass and other things like that. But it's more dynamic. It's not just placed there saying like it was in Black Flag. Like, oh my god, there was so much grassy areas placed there specifically because they wanted you to stealth it. Or they wanted a place for you to stealth. So this is an RPG now. Everything in the world feels like it should be there, as opposed to we're going to shoehorn a place in for you to stealth. No, if you want to stealth it, you can stealth it. One thing that I'm a little upset that they took away was cover. So there's no longer an ability to snap to a cover or to go up against a cover and like kind of, you can whistle. Whistle's back, which is a good thing. I know a lot of people say whistle's a cheap thing, but I think whistle's a great thing. To have for stealth, because it allows you to find a way to bring the enemies to you so you can, have proper stealth. It's just another way to stealth, right? It's giving you more options. So unfortunately there is no cover, but what you can do is if you are behind a cover, okay, and an enemy is walking out past the cover you're at and you assassinate them, you will drag them behind the cover in a way. It's not exactly like it was, say, in AC3 or AC4, where you see the animation of them dragging them, knocking against the wall and all that. It's not exactly like that. But it's similar to where, like, if you're attacking someone or silently assassinating someone and you're behind a cover and then they come around, you will pull them towards your cover. So that is good. All right. So obviously there are a few things they had to take away because they went RPG, and you're just going to have to deal with it, and you're going to have to know that change is necessary sometimes to reinvent. But as far as the stealth goes, I enjoyed it. I did a lot of stealth, but at the same time, this was one of the first Assassin's Creed where I wanted to not stealth. This was the first Assassin's Creed where I wanted to actually test the combat as much as I could. I would do situations like, say, if you take, for instance, one of the new videos I just put up of the Lizard's Masks, the mission where we meet Cleopatra. I could stealth that whole section. And I did that the first time I played that mission, because I played it multiple times. And I stealthed the entire thing. Didn't do any combat, stealthed every single enemy, got them all separated, took them out, bang, bang, boom. Didn't mess with anyone in the whole entire mission. But I didn't want to show that because I wanted to show you what the combat is and how much more fun and intuitive and challenging it is. So I stealthed the first two people that you saw, and then I purposely got caught so that I could do the combat on the others, right? So I could show you some bow and arrow stuff and other things. So stealth is great, and I don't feel like I'm going to stealth every section in this game. This is going to be the one game where I feel like I'm going to want to actually partake in the combat, because it's more Dark Soulsy. It's more like back and forth. It's no longer that wait for the counter option and then do it. It's more like it's a game that you're playing with the person, with the AI character, right? As soon as you see them attack, it's no longer where you want to try to counter. It's where I'm going to dodge to their back, and then I'm going to hold that hard hit, and I'm going to trigger it, and I'm going to do a beast move on you, or I'm going to parry you, and then I'm going to, like, there's so much more, like, the game is way more combat focused than stealth focused, but it still gives you all of the stealth options that you would want. Partake, a few here and there. Other than that, it's really good. Let's see. And as I just said, I just pretty much mentioned how I feel about the combat. I like it. Granted, they definitely did fix a little bit of the dodging, because the dodging did look like kind of, I'm back, I'm over here, I'm over here. Well, they definitely made it more realistic. It's more of like you can roll out of sections now, a lot more smoother. But you got to remember that when they're trying to implement something like this, that's just kind of how it's going to be. This is an open world game. You're not going to be able to get systems to be as specific as you want them, because there are so many systems that have to work conjointly. All kinds of systems have to be brought together, created as one to make work in a cohesive way. So with that being said, it's going to look a little choppy or whatever. It didn't distract from me. I enjoyed the combat. And again, this was one of the first Assassin's Creed game where I wanted to just get into the combat and not stealth everybody. So now, social stealth. I keep seeing the question about social stealth. I didn't see any at all. In my gameplay time, and here's like, you see the cover thing. In my gameplay time, I didn't see any anything that had to do with social stealth. I didn't see any benches for me to sit on. I didn't see a group of enemies or a group of people that I could stand in between, and I would be all of a sudden invisible. I didn't see any of that. The missions that I didn't line itself up for that. There were no missions where I was like tailing somebody, if you know what I mean, right? All the missions I went to do were ones where I went to a specific area, and then I had to either take out a specific guy, or I had to do save somebody, or take all these people out, or do a detective work, or something like that. But I didn't see anything that required me to blend in with a crowd. So as far as the social stealth aspect goes, I didn't see any. But I also didn't notice I didn't see any. Does that make sense? I didn't sit there and say, where's the social stealth? Where is, why can I get in, mix in with this crowd? I think it's just going to happen dynamically. I think if you're with a bunch of people, there's not going to be a thing that says like you're blending in with people. I think it's just automatic. And you're going to see that, again, I haven't played a mission where there was me like tailing somebody or following somebody. So, did the side quests affect the main story? Now, I've played three or four side quests total. They all had their separate story elements, but they all fit into a cohesive world in the place that you were in. So when we were in this location, there was a couple of side stories, and those side missions took you from one location to the other inside that world, inside this little location, and it felt like a cohesive story in itself. How that connects to the main story, I don't know, because it's not like I did a side mission and then could do the next side mission in that storyline. You know what I mean? So I can't tell you how it connects to the main storyline, if it's going to have a deeper meaning for, like, if you do this specific storyline, it's going to allow you to get this that you wouldn't normally get in the story or something like that. I don't know if that affects it in any way, but there's always time to tell, and there's more gameplay to be seen. So again, I'm just going off of what I've played, and I didn't see, any social stealth, and I didn't see any connection from the main story to the side stories. But again, the side stories have a story, as opposed to just stupid fetch quests that they've been in some previous games. So very excited and looking forward to that, of course. Executions are still present. They don't work the same way like before, since it was canned animations. Every single time you countered, you would get an execution. Well, that's not the case anymore. So the only time you'll get executions is when enemies are down on their health, or you have an aggro meter, and you use it when they have lower health, or the aggro meter will do a certain amount of damage, and if that damage is higher than the amount of damage left on a particular enemy, then you will do an execution. So hopefully that explains. And I didn't see anything where you could set up a double execution. So like if you had two enemies next to each other and you did the aggro, it seems the aggro just focuses on one target, but there could be an unlock that allows you to aggro on two targets that are in a specific area. Again, there's a lot, this is an RPG, there's a lot of upgrades and different things that you're going to be able to get into. So yeah, as far as can you replay missions, I could not. In my demo, I could not replay missions. But the main menu wasn't set up. The only menus that were set up in the demos that I played were like your inventory, your abilities, and things like that. There was no menu set up for memories and things like that, because we all know that these will be, if it goes in the same direction that the Assassin's Creed games have in the past, we all know that it'll be set up like memories or sequences or things like that. Now, if they change that, I don't know. You could always retackle a mission in previous games. So I would like to think that they would allow you to do that, because I know they want people to play their game. So I would think that they would allow you to do that. And I would 100% bet that they're going to do that. But one of the big things to note is no longer are there 100% synchronizations. I was a little upset about this at first. A lot of people weren't, but I was at first. And the reason I was upset was because one of my favorite things to do was the challenge of completing it 100% sync. And I know that challenge requires you to do it in a specific way. Like you have to do this specifically this way. And that made it less immersion for all of you guys out there, right? Because you wanted to tackle the mission in your own way, which you can, but if you wanted 100% sync, and I'm doing a little teabag in there, I love that. But if you wanted to do a little bit of, if you wanted to get it all synced up, then you had to do it a specific way. Those are gone. They're completely gone. There's no more 100% sync. It's you have your missions and you complete it or you don't. So there you go. No more optional 100% syncs. You're not going to see Assassin's Creed Origin 100% sync walkthrough, unless there still is synchronization as far as, because we're in the main world. And by 100% sync, I just mean getting everything in the game. So yeah. Yeah, there was no modern day stuff in the demo, and I only played in this Egypt portion of the map, which was called Memphis this past time, and then there was another section. So when I zoomed out the map, first of all, the map the map is huge. So you zoom out, and I can't show you guys because that's NDA, but I can explain what I saw. You zoom out, and you still see the area that you're in, and then you look around, and it's tiny when you zoom out, and all of a sudden when you zoom in, it's big, and then you zoom out more, and it's even tinier, and it's the speckle of a dot that you're in the world. Freaking amazing. It was amazing. So this place is huge, and when I saw the map, I saw the area we were at, and then I saw up there Memphis, Alexandria, and all this stuff. Memphis is a medium-sized city that you've been seeing in these gameplays that I've been showing in the new ones. Alexandria is a massive city. So there are a lot of different cities, and they're going to be different sizes. Some are going to be rooftop cities where you're going to be able to traverse across a rooftop like other Assassin's Creed games. And then there's going to be smaller cities where they're more condensed, and you're not going to get that type of things. Sorry, Kimmy. I understand if I'm not messing your questions. Keep putting it out there, and I have a lot of questions to answer, so I'm trying to get to as many as I can. Just keep putting it out there every now and then to make sure that I see it. So that explains, as far as the map goes, it's super massive. So, all right, let me get another video up. This is fun. I've been wanting to get all this stuff out and to show you guys all this for a long time. So it's kind of nice to get to do this. Let's try this one. What's up, ladies and gents? CenterStrain01, your host, back with more Assassin's Creed. All right, we are back. Okay, so let me get to the questions again. I'll go up just for you, Kimmy. Let me see your question. There's only about 100 messages in between your posts here. I don't even see what you were asking. I don't even see yours. I'm going through hundreds of things here, and I don't see you asking any question at all. You're going to have to put it back out there. Sorry. I don't see it at all through the whole thing I just went through. We'll be visiting Rome or Greece. I think we're going to. I think there's going to be a section of the game, and we're going to be seeing Rome and Greece. I don't know for sure, but I feel like it's going to be definitely in this game, or it could lead into the next game. I feel like Rome or Greece could be a perfect setting for a full Assassin's Creed game. Even though we've got Rome in the past, I feel like in this time period it would be even better. Parkour is great. Love it. There are no counterattacks. It's parrying now. Question was about sponsorship. That doesn't help, Kimmy. You're not really doing a good job at explaining what the question is. Let's see. Sponsorship. Well, if we looked up the I'm just kidding, but you got to actually ask the question. Let's see, a lot of assassination animations like Unity. So far from what I've seen, they're all different. Everything is different. All the animations are different. They've won a complete redo of everything in the game, and everything feels fresh and new. So yes, you can upgrade armor and things like that with hunting and all that. All the crafting systems to get better gear, to get better shields and things like that will all be done with crafting and picking up certain items in the environment, as well as doing hidden treasures or cave systems and hidden tombs and stuff like that. I don't know. I think this could lead up to be a possible trilogy, and it makes sense to me that it would, because this is a time period of that they could really do something with, and I didn't think so in the beginning, but now I've started to see that this really is a good time period. Will they fix facial animations? They're probably going to do their best to get it what they feel is going to be close enough. Again, I'm not one that's pissed off at the facial animations right now. And I know everyone harked on Mass Effect for facial animations or whatever. Again, I don't look at those kind of things as tearing me away from a game. I like games for what they are, an escape of reality. If a game looks like its facial animations are a little bit off, it's not going to detract me from liking the game. I felt like definitely the characters that were more polished were the main ones here than some of the normal NPCs that are around the game. But obviously, there's always can be a little bit more polishing. And the game is not out yet, so keep that in mind. And the builds that we did were builds from probably 6-7 months ago. So you got to keep that in mind as well, because it takes a lot of coding, and then they have to do specific things inside that build to make it to where not everything is shown, take all the modern aspects out of it and all the other stuff like that. So probably what we saw was something very, very old representation of the game, and we're not going to know what's really going on until the release. Let's see here. Who is the villain? It's hard to say. I think there's going to be multiple villains in this. Obviously, the Templars are the main villains, and I think, especially if you've looked at the new trailer that I showed off today, which is going to be the Assassin's Creed Cleopatra and Julius Caesar trailer, you're going to see the power struggle going on there, so you can kind of see who the villains are going to be. I think it's going to be a mixture of we might be working for the villain and then all of a sudden realize, okay, she's a villain, maybe we don't want to work for her. Everyone knows Cleopatra and Cleopatra's story, so it's going to be interesting how it plays into, but it hasn't set itself up for one specific villain like the other Assassin's Creed games have, like a Templar, you know. You just can't talk about the present day. Obviously, with release of certain things, you're not allowed to talk about specific things, and that's just the way of life, and that's just how video games, press, and journalism and that stuff kind of work. And you just have to deal with it and live with it. But again, yes. And the moment we can talk about anything that has to do with the modern day, dude, I'm gonna be all over it. So I got your back. Let's see. I don't think you're going to be able to defeat 10 enemies without dodging, because of the way that the game is set up. The enemies will strike you at the same time, and you can only parry up to 2 enemies at a time as of right now. So you're going to have to dodge and get out of there in order to be able to not die. You're going to die a lot quicker in this game than you did in the previous games. So it's definitely a little bit more challenging. It's an RPG, so go out and familiarize yourself with RPGs to get to know exactly what the things that you're going to get into in this game, and you can get a good feeling of what's going to happen. Let's see. No, I'm not saying Cleopatra is a villain, and she might not end up being a villain, but there is a power struggle in the system, Kimmy, between Julius Caesar, Cleopatra, and Cleopatra's brothers. So one of Cleopatra's brothers is the king in this story, and she herself, as the queen, has been exiled. This takes place during that time period. So it's setting itself up that you're going to be working with Cleopatra and that the enemy is going to be her brother. But we don't know how that's going to go. We've only seen some small story elements. It can go in many different ways. And yeah, so we just don't know yet. But from what I've seen so far, and the fact that we've met Cleopatra and that she is going to be asking us to do missions and things like that, at least for a specific time period, she is going to be on our side. But obviously underneath there could be hidden tones of things, going on underneath. Is there a difficulty setting? There wasn't from what I played. And there really never has ever been a difficulty setting in any of the Assassin's Creed games. It's dynamic difficulty. You make the game harder or easier based off of the weapons you choose to use and the armor and the leveling up system that you go. So again, since you can level up in many different ways, there's not going to be a need for a difficulty setting, in my opinion, because you can make it harder or more difficult based on what you do. So as far as I know right now, there is none, and I know there was a difficulty setting in Witcher 3, but I don't know if there's a difficulty setting in Assassin's Creed Origins. Will there be a pre-game demo release for everyone? I'm going to guess no. And the reason I say that is because it would take a lot more time away from the game development to make a demo for the mass. The game developments that we see, they are a lot easier to make because they are personalized individual demos that the developers themselves make to play, to see how the game is reacting and stuff, and then they show that off to us. But when you make a demo for the masses, for millions of people, there has to be so much polish and so much attention, like a specific team, just for that alone. And I think because of that, and because of how close we are to the game being released, there's not going to be a mass demo, just what we get to show you guys from that. So let's go to another one. Sorry it takes me a long time to get through this, but I got them all on the computer, and OBS works in a specific way that you have to do it kind of like this. Okay, we'll show the Cleopatra mission off. Welcome back, ladies and gents. I'm your host, CenterStrain01, and we have got... I know it's kind of confusing when I'm sitting there talking to you, and then all of a sudden I'm not talking to you, but then I'm sitting there back talking to you. It's called Strainception. All right, let's go back to the questions here. Did you use the Predator bow with manually controlled arrows? So how does it feel? And how does it work? So yes, you can manually control the arrows that you use, or you can rapid fire the arrows. So if you were just to press the right trigger once while you're hitting the left trigger, then you would do just one. If you would hold it down, then he himself would rapid succession do about 5 or 6 at a time with the Predator bow, and that was a pretty cool thing. Now when it comes to your longbow, it's just one at a time. Hold it to get more damage, and then let go. And how you do that is you got to hold the right trigger. So you would hold the left trigger to aim, and then you would press the right trigger and hold it down to fully aim, to like to kind of go into the, you put it back. So you just put it out with the left trigger, and then you're looking in the direction. And then once you get your arrow out is by holding down the right trigger and then letting go, and that's how you produce the bow. So there's different types of bows, there's a lot of different things. Yes, they have a descend mechanic just like in Syndicate and in Unity, and it's the same thing. You just press B if you're on a console or a circle, depending on what you're on. I don't know what it is for a computer, but yes. So there's that free running up, and free running down is back. As far as microtransaction goes, I've answered this already, but none. As far as I know, none. I didn't see any. Developers haven't said anything. None so far. No naval battles as far as I've seen, just driving specific boats like you see here. That's the only thing that I have seen so far. Yes, you can still do running assassinations. If you're running towards an enemy, and as soon as you get within contact, you'll see a thing pop up above their head that'll say Y, and then you can do the assassination, and it will be a running assassination, yes. Is there blood? Yes, there is blood. There will be blood. And it'll be all over your uniform, and it's glorious. Soundtrack was great. The music set a very Egyptian type of feeling to it. And when you would do specific things, obviously with the way games go nowadays, is when you get into combat, a specific music cue will come up. When you're exploring, like when you reach a viewpoint, a specific type of music will come up. So all of it is contextual depending on what you're doing, but the score so far really had me engrossed. I had headphones on, and I can't recommend enough that when you play video games nowadays, you gotta play with headphones on, because there's so much audio going on, especially in the city when you're just walking around and all the people are talking. Like, I ran into a woman in the recent demo that I did, and I was just running around as I was just free roaming. I might show it off, and she's playing guitar and she's singing, and she's just sitting on a bench by herself. And I kept running by her every now and then, and I kept, what is that? Where's that coming from? That is beautiful. But I would keep going and do something else. And then finally I got to the point when I was coming back around the area and she was singing. I stopped, I went over to where she was, and I just listened. And it was amazing. It was great. It felt like, oh my God, these people are just going about their day, doing the things that they're doing, and it was fun. Can eagles go into buildings? That is a good question. Technically, yes and no. The reason I say yes is because there are a lot of buildings, a lot of structures that have an indoor but have an open roof. So I never made myself try to fit through a small door, but I was able to go through the top of a location and go inside and search around rooms. So if that makes sense to you, hopefully it does. But I never took my eagle through like a door, if you know what I mean. I hope the animations and lip sync are going to be more polished. Obviously, again, what we've played was a dated demo. So I'm sure they're going to try to improve. And again, it's all about you guys. Listen, if you have a Twitter, if you have a Facebook, do what you got to do and actually talk to them. Post on their Twitters at Assassin's Creed or at Ubisoft. Post on their Twitters and ask them the questions. Say, hey, animations look a little rough. Otherwise, the game looks great. Please do something about that. And then say you're very excited. Give them a little positive when you want to do, if you're going to do something, if you're going to criticize them in some way, if you're going to tell them something that is negative that you've seen in the game so far, don't do it in an asshole kind of way, because nobody responds to that. Constructive criticism is always the way to go. If you want something specific in a game, ask them. Your voice can be heard and will be heard. They have Twitter accounts. They have forums on their official web pages. Ask them. You'll be amazed at how much you can get done just by sitting there and actually asking the questions to the developers. I do what I can. Anytime you guys have a specific question, I always go to the developers and I say, hey, blah, 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 blah. What do you think about this? Blah, 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 blah. I always do that, and I try to give you guys the information that I can. But sometimes you got to do stuff for yourself. I'm telling you. Let them know. Say, hey, I think the animations need just a little bit of work. Otherwise, the game looks amazing, and I'm so excited to play. Those kind of remarks will be like, you know what? Yeah, the animations are looking a little crappy, but this person's enjoying what they've seen of the game so far. Let's see what we can do to fix it. Always have a positive outlook on that kind of stuff, and I guarantee you they are listening. The creative directors for this game love Assassin's Creed. And I follow them on Twitter, and they're always tweeting about the game and always showing how much love they have. The main creative director on the game, he was the creative director for Black Flag. He listens to you guys. He watches the videos. He looks at the comments. So, always put your thoughts out there and always ask. It never hurts to ask. Are there going to be multiple endings? I don't know. They ain't going to tell me that. They're not going to say, well, CenterStrain, here's the ending of the game. This is on non-disclosure agreement. You can't talk about it yet, but we're going to go ahead and give you the ending. No, they're not going to ruin the game for us. What they'll do is a lot of times they'll send us press packets when the game comes out. And in that packet, there'll be a thing that says, all right, before this date, don't show this, don't show this, don't show this, because they want most of the people to experience it when they play it, as opposed to being spoiled by it. But they'll also say, spoilers ahead. Don't read unless you don't want it, spoiled. And they'll be like, this person is going to die, or this person is going to be shown, or whatever, because they want to give the press as much insight into the game and what the developers are thinking as possible. But I never read that because I don't want to ruin the experience myself, and I love it. There's going to be all kinds of improvements on the release date. This is not it, guys. Even though the release date's 2 months away, what we have played, or what I have shown you and played, is months ago. You got to think about how long it takes to make video games, guys. Look at Star Citizen. I'm going to use Star Citizen as an example, and my hair is all over the place, isn't it? I'm going to look at Star Citizen as an example. We've been playing the alpha build for Star Citizen for so long, right? Alpha build 3.0 is about to come out, and it's a huge step in the game. They've had their 3.0 build that they've been playing internally for over a year. Because you remember back in December, they said we're going to release Alpha 3.0 back in December. Now, granted, it's changed since then. There's been updates, improvements, but they were planning on having the demo or having 3.0 ready by the time December came rolling around. That is now over 8-9 months. So you got to think about, well, they must have had that ready for 6 months before that to polish and all that kind of stuff. So you got to think, what we're playing, this demo here, is not something that they just came up with and is relative to being released. No, this is something that was months and months ago. Development of games takes a long time, and you've seen that with Star Citizen from the moment it's been started being created in 2012 till now. It's been 5 years and still only at alpha. So let that be a reason, an explanation on, and here's that. Oh, I love that Predator bow, man. I love it so much. Let that be an explanation on why, why I think that this is definitely an older version that we're playing here. So there's also obviously way more improvements. Question, can we hold 2 weapons in 2 hands and not use the shield at all? Yes, you can dual wield weapons, and I will have some gameplay of dual wielding weapons. In the video that I've got coming up in the next few days, there is a secret temple, or there's a temple, and there is a secret that you need to find inside the temple, and inside that there is a scroll, and you have to decipher the scroll and find the location that the scroll is and find the hidden treasure. And we do that, and I showcase dual-bladed weapons in that video, so you'll see some really cool, and those things are like, oh man, you get me excited talking about it. Those things are like chop freaking suey. I mean, you sacrifice protection obviously because you don't have a shield, but when you got those 2 swords, and they're tiny swords, they're not like massive swords, they're obviously one-handed swords. I'm telling you, when you would hit the light attack, you would be like shoom 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 shoom. I mean, you were fast. And then when you hit that heavy attack, you were like, I mean, just freaking, you were in there, and it was fast. It was like, oh my God, they didn't know what freaking hit them. That's how crazy it was. And I know I'm overselling it dramatically, but it was super fast. And when I show that off to you, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about, and you'll be able to understand. But yes, obviously bigger swords are going to be slower but more powerful. Smaller swords, double-bladed swords, are going to be fast, nimble, quick, but they're going to do damage at a very fast pace because you're hitting multiple hits at once. So let's say if I was going up against an enemy, and on a normal sword I could get in 3 hits before he would do something or dodge out of the way or block me or something like that. Well, with the double swords, I could get in like 6-7 fast hits and then be able to dodge around and then do 6-7 fast hits and just keep it going, and it was just crazy fun. So yes, you're going to be able to see a lot of it. So here we go. You're going to see some Cleopatra here. This is my first introduction into her. I knew she was going to be in the game, but I didn't know how they were going to do it and how they were going to set her up. So, but what I've seen of her so far, she's very menacing and someone you don't want to mess with. So it was pretty cool to like kind of interact. I just had this smile on my face when the trailer that you saw today that they released was the first thing that I saw at the pre-Gamescom event that they showed us that had Julius Caesar and Cleopatra. And I was floored. I was like, oh, I was like this. I was the only one that gave the trailer a standing ovation in the room because I was freaking amazed at what they're doing with the history and just being a part of this world and this universe. I'm such a history buff, guys. You have no idea. Like, I've lived my whole life loving history, all aspects of history, and to get to relive in one way or another this time period is amazing to me. Ben, you are awesome. Thank you so much for the super chat, man. Thank you so much for the $5 donation. I love you. Thank you, Ben. Ben Brody, you are amazing, and thank you for the super chat. And it's not that I'm the best spokesperson for any product. It's just I'm going to tell you how I feel, and if I like it, man, I'm going to really put my heart into it and not give you any bullshit. I hate people that just give bullshit. So, I just want to tell you what I like and what I don't like, and I want you to make the decision on whether or not it be for you. Because if there's something I don't like about a game, you might like it, and I respect that, and I'm not going to diminish your you know, your thoughts or the way you think just because you disagree with me on one thing or another. I'm always gonna, you know, always be supportive of you guys because you guys are always supportive of me. So that's the whole thing, you know. Even though you're the audience and I'm the content creator, together we create and make this channel, and we can't do it without all of us. So with that being said, I just want to make sure that everyone has a say and everyone has an input. And that's why, if you're following me on Twitter, you've seen that when I did certain videos, I would ask which thumbnail should I use, because I want your input as much as possible. I want you to be a part of this channel, and that's what I try to do. That's what I try to make. All right, let's get another one going. I don't know if I've done this one. If I have, I'm sorry. If I have, I'm sorry. Oh, this is a pyramid one. Yeah, this is a good one. These are the pyramids that you can go to. This was the, I just got this weapon. Remember what I just told you about the secret that I did a few minutes ago? This was right after that, and I tested out this new weapon that I just got, and this was it. This is a legendary item, and you'll see that it has blue instead of red on the aggro meter because it's a different type of weapon than what we have. So they mean and represent different things. But this was just a strong point that I was going through and messing around with. But it's a beautiful weapon, and it's a very powerful weapon. It's considered a legendary item weapon. So, all right, what else can we do? We got some more questions. I want to, like I said, answer as many as I can. If you max level, can you use all skills from the skill tree, or do you still need to pick up a certain amount to create a so-called build? So from my experience with the skill tree was you can dive into anything you want. You'll get certain points. Every time you level up, you'll get a skill point. And you'll notice in the top right, you'll see the number that says 23 up there, right? That's the level that I'm currently at. And every single time you do something, kill enemies, loot, missions, side missions, everything in the game, discover new locations, viewpoints, all that stuff adds to your level meter. And every time you level up, you'll get another skill point. Those skill points can be used to get anything you want. And there is roughly around 80. There might be close to 100 different skills that you can activate. So, some skills cannot be unlocked until you've had a specific beginner of that skill. Say, for instance, you couldn't unlock the double assassination until you got this. You couldn't unlock this until you did this. So there is a specific, and in some of them, like say some things like a double assassination or a parry cost like 3 skill points, whereas some other things cost 1 skill point. So there's based off of, but it's just all available to you at once. So you'll just have to go in there and see what kind of player you want to be. And I'm going to tailor myself to be a mixture of stealth and combat. I want a good mixture, where before I would always be just stealthy. Well, now I feel like I want to really, really get into the combat a lot more. So I'm going to change that up and try to be a mixture of both. As far as the controls have changed a bit, there was a difference. It actually took me about 10 minutes to get used to the new control scheme in this game from what they changed in the previous build that I played. And it was very subtle changes, but it was a lot smoother than it was before. Not that it wasn't smooth before, but it's definitely way more polished now. They changed a few things up as far as how you use certain weapons. So let me explain to you in this way. So here's your controller, and let's say, as I said previously, you've got your ranged weapons on the left and your melee weapons on the right. So if I were to click left once on the D-pad, then it would switch my ranged weapons. And I always had a predator bow and a long range hunting bow. So if I wanted to switch to a quick predator bow, I just press that once. If I wanted to switch to the longbow, then I press it once again. Now, right side was a little different. Right side had the 2 melee weapons. If I had an axe on one and I had double blades on the other, I would press right on one to get to the axe, and then right again to get to the double blades. Now I would press and hold right to get to my torch if I was going into pyramids or into dark locations and I needed my torch. That torch can be waved around and used as a weapon as well. So like when you're going against animals or snakes or things like that, you can even use them against enemies. You can light enemies on fire with your torch just by swinging it at them and things like that. You can throw your torch at enemies so they catch on fire. But as far as I also knew that the torch was unlimited. When you threw it, you could still just get another one right out, and that was it. So you can use it constantly over and over again. I don't know if that's going to be implemented in the final build, but it was in the demo. No, it definitely does not have the in-depth stealth of Metal Gear Solid 5, but this is an RPG. Metal Gear Solid 5 was not an RPG. It was an open world stealth game. So it was different. This is completely different. So you got to think about it that way. Let's see what else we got. Still going 2 hours later, man. That's right. I keep getting questions, and I'll be here answering them as much as I can. With AI interaction to be, is it as fulfilling as they say? Far Cry Primal has random animal attacks and whatnot. Will it be up to par? So, what I've seen, one thing that they've taken out is being able to assassinate anyone. Before, you could just go up to a random person, even if it was a civilian, and assassinate them. You can't do that anymore. You can only assassinate what are considered enemy types. From what I've seen. The other thing is they were going about their business. The AI was interacting in ways with each other. Some people would be singing songs on a guitar. Other people would be working at a shop. Other people would be loading things. Other people would be taking like taxis, like, along the sea or along the riverbed. Taking people from one place to another. The world was evolving. It was people were doing things. Now, when it came to nighttime, and you wanted to do a stronghold, an enemy stronghold, well, if you were to attack that same stronghold during the day, all the enemies are going around doing their patrols and whatnot. If you attack it at night, there would be fewer enemies, and a lot of the enemies would be sleeping. So you could literally sneak into their beds and assassinate them and take them out. And I did that for one of the heavy guards. So like, say there was a section of Stronghold that you needed to take out its captain and its commander. So its captain was patrolling and its commander was sleeping. And this was nighttime. So what I did was when I went in, stealthed around and found where the commander was. He was sleeping. And then I assassinated him. And then I went and found the captain, and then I assassinated him as well. So take those guys out, and then you can get, you can complete that little section, and there'll be like loot and all that kind of stuff to find around the section as well. So it was very, very intuitive, and it felt like there's a reason for me to do this. This type of gameplay is to maybe sometimes wait till night and then take them out when they're not expecting it or when they're asleep. So. As far as I've seen, I've only seen riding animals with horses and camels, nothing else. But it's very possible there could be more. Let's see. As far as I know, you are able to take off all of the HUD. So you should be able to take off everything that shows up above enemies. So if you want to play that experience where you don't want to know what a certain amount of damage is going to do to an enemy because you want to immerse yourself as much as possible, you will be able to do that. What kind of collectibles? There's not really collectibles in the sense of collectibles like Uncharted. There are trinkets and other stuff, things that are hidden in tombs, but they're not considered like, well, there's only 16 collectibles in this section or whatever. They're just sprung out throughout the whole entire game world. And there's so many tombs, hidden, sunken treasures, cities under the sea that you can find certain treasures and things like that. And obviously, that's how you'll loot. That's how you'll get, that's how you'll rank up, get better levels, get more stuff like that. And there you go. As far as selling ships, only the small little itty bitty boats that I've been able to go on has been so far. I don't know if there's any other besides that. It'd be interesting to see if there was. Maybe there will be, but who knows? All right, let's move on to another video. See, I did that one. I don't think I've done this one. I think I did do that one, didn't I? Yeah, I did that one. I still have more videos that I haven't edited yet. So I don't have all of my videos done. So I'm only showing you the ones that I've had done. But I have other ones that I'm currently in the process of editing and showing you. I have so much footage, and I don't want to just put it out at once. So there's going to be a lot more. Armor customization, I didn't see any as of yet, except for the fact that you can customize your shield and the weapons that you have. But I didn't see like a specific armor type that you can have this specific thing on here or this on there. I didn't see any of that yet. There is cats, dogs, all kinds of animals that are running around the areas. Yes, all of the animals are there. Just running around doing their thing. Well, thank you, Journey. I appreciate it, man. And again, guys, if you like what you see and you want to see more of this kind of stuff and me to be able to do this kind of stuff, I can't stress enough, help me out. Become a Patreon if you can. It really, really helps for me to be able to continue to do this more and more, because they're not going to invite me to these events if they don't feel that I have an audience that's going to watch. You know, we're only as good as our audience lets us be. So it's up to you guys. If you like what you see, help me to continue to do this. Become a Patreon, donate on PayPal, whatever it is, whatever you can do. Watch the videos, you know, subscribe, comment, like, share the videos on Twitter, on Facebook, all that. Whatever you can do, all of that goes into helping me create more and more videos. So thank you for those of you that do already. It means the world to me. Did I go over the skill tree? Yes, I went over some of the skill tree on the different things that you can do with it, and I will have specific videos for the skill tree showing you some more of that stuff in the future as well. You like the music? I love the music. I know it's been looping over and over again, but it's like my favorite theme of all time for any video game, so. Thanks, Renee. They have all kinds of animals. I mean, hippos, lions, tigers, bears, oh my, snakes, cats, dogs, crocodiles, or they called alligators. I'm not sure which part they're called in Egypt. All kinds of animals. I mean, obviously you've seen fish, sea creatures, things like that. It's all over the place. Since it is an RPG, I actually do think that they're going to provide you with getting higher levels and things like that. Once the game ships and is out, there's probably going to be DLC that will allow you to continually build your character. As far as a limit to what the character can be leveled up as, the max limit, I have no idea what that is. They haven't mentioned that yet. And yeah, so I like the animations. There wasn't a single time in this game where I didn't feel immersed in everything that was happening. So the animations to me seemed like they were okay. Obviously, you guys look into those details a little bit more specific than I do, just because I know the process that goes into making these games and how hard they are to do these simple things that may look easy but take years to master. I like the animations. I mean, look at it. It looks beautiful. Look at the way the water is. Look at, I mean, it's so great. It's like I just want to play it. And that's why I feel like I will definitely 100% this game. I mean, I'm going to 200% this game. I'm going to do everything. And I really, really hope that Ubisoft I'll be able to get this game quick enough to be able to have so many videos ready by the time this game releases, so that you guys can see as much that I can show. So you're welcome, the valuable one. Release date is, I think, October 27th. It's the end of October. It's somewhere around in there. So it's coming up in just over 2 months. sprinting is a lot better in Origins than any other game, and the reason I say that is because you used to have to press RT to sprint. You no longer have to do that. Sprinting is all done with just your movement of the left thumbstick. So with that being said, sprinting is up to you. If you want to do a medium sprint, do a medium sprint. If you want to do a full-on sprint, press it all the way forward. If you want to crouch and do a faster stealth crouch, then do that. It's all on the left thumbstick now. No more we're holding a right trigger to sprint. Did I try the fast travel option they spoke of? Yeah. So the fast travel options that I've seen so far that I experienced was all the viewpoints. So every viewpoint that you unlock, you can fast travel to instantly. As far as Sinew being able to fast travel because of him, I do not know. I haven't seen anything of that. It wasn't in the demo, but if that's something that's going to happen, then holy crap, that's going to be cool. So I'm learning as much as you are sometimes. I can only tell you what I've experienced in my game time, in my gameplay. So, that's all I can do. I'm going to go for a 9,000 completion. You got it. Frame rate, so I was wrong, and I will completely admit that I was wrong. Our playtime at E3, we played the game in 4K. It was not 4K 60 frames a second. The reason I adamantly said it was 4K 60 was because we recorded on Shoguns. Shoguns are the new 4K recorders that they're mainly used for when you're recording like camcorders and things like that. I recorded using Shogun. Those are in 4K 60 frames a second. There was no option to change to 4K 30. I could only record at 4K 60 or 1080 60. So when I had put out that I was playing the game in 4K 60, that's because I was going off of my capture screen, which said 4K 60. So it was my fault. It was only 4K 30. I tried this time to record in 4K 30, but they couldn't figure out how to get the Shoguns to do 4K 30, and we were not allowed to record below 4K. They wanted to show this game off on Xbox One X in 4K. So what I did in post-processing and post-editing is when I put my 4K 60 footage, which was actually 30, but it was recording in 60, because that's all we could do. When I put that into the editor of Adobe Premiere, I outputted it in 30. So that way you're seeing what the game is being showed at, and I'm not upping anything in any particular way. And all the videos are being displayed at 40 megabytes a second on YouTube. So what you're seeing is 4K 30 at 40 megabytes a second. Now, yes, and that's what they should be showing. So hopefully that's what you've been seeing. I can't talk about PS4 Pro because they've not shown any PS4 gameplay of the game yet. They have an exclusivity of showing gameplay for the Xbox One X. So that's all I've got to show you. But you can get a good synopsis of how the Xbox One X and the PS4 is going to be. Obviously, there's a little bit more power in the Xbox One X, and it's playing at native 4K, whereas the Xbox or the PlayStation 4 is probably going to be upscaled 1440. You can unequip every weapon you have. You'll have in your inventory a spot for shields, and you'll have different shields that you can craft and get via different things that you do in the world. So you will be able to do that. How does bird DNA inserted in Assassins? Are there mummies? List all modes of transportation around map, please. Does his wife assassinate Cleopatra? She's in Ezio's vault. Will you do sponsorships? I have no idea how the bird DNA is inserted into Assassins. Are there mummies? There is a process of mummification, and it's going to be in the game. But as far as what we've seen, do not know. Have not seen anything on that. List all the modes of transportation so far: fast travel from viewpoint to viewpoint, and boats, and walking, and running, and parkouring, and horsing, and cameling, and that's your transportation. Does his wife assassinate Cleopatra? We don't know. That's not been said yet, but it does lead to a lot of speculation on what's going to happen there, and I can't wait to find out. Well, I do sponsorships. If you're talking about sponsorships in general for the channel in the future, I am going to start trying to do some sponsorships, but I promise I won't do any sponsorships that I don't somewhat feel could benefit you in a way or not. I won't just blatantly say, join blah 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 because it's blah 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 and blah blah blah, and I think it's actually a piece of crap. You know, I'll never do that. That's not me. Hopefully that answered all your questions. What's your opinion on the Eagle? It seems like a lot of Ubisoft games are using a drone mechanic now, and I think it's getting a bit old. True. I've thought that at first, but when they explained how this is the embodiment of Eagle Vision, it kind of has a different meaning to it. I don't look at it as a drone. I look at it as like, this is the beginning. This is where it all comes from. And so because I have a sense of history of the series and a sense of using it in a way that means something to the overall story of Assassin's Creed and how that works, I'm okay with it, and I like it, and I enjoy it. Can you fight underwater? Yes, you can fight underwater. I did have to do that sometimes when you would be attacked, like say from a hippopotamus or something under the water, or a crocodile. Yes, you can fight underwater. You are welcome for answering your questions. Do I know how big the game will be on Xbox One? No clue, because we haven't played the full game, so I don't know. My guess is it's going to be around 40 to 50 gigs, so be ready. Frame drops, I didn't notice a single freaking frame drop in the entire time I played. It was super, super smooth. The only thing I noticed a lot, and that's just based off of this is the way games are, and you can't really fix this until we're 20 years in the future, was pop in and pop out. Meaning in Sancho, some people saw that where you'd be going along on your horse, enemies or people would just start to pop in at a certain distance away when you got closer to them. That's just the nature of video game in general. It's hard to produce everything that's on a screen when you have an open world that's just going on, and there's just so much to do and so much to see. So there is some pop in that I'm sure you have seen in some videos. Yeah, so I just wanted to let you guys know. I think I did that one. I did that one. I did that one. I did that one. I think I haven't done this one. I did do that one. I'm trying to find something that you guys haven't seen yet. Maybe this one. We'll do this one. Do I think it'll make Game of the Year? Okay, let me think about all the games that are coming out this year. Honestly, I feel this one has a shot. If people can get over the... I love you guys, I really do. And not all of you do this, but some of you do. Just complain because it's Ubisoft. Not actually taking a look at the game in general or seeing the positives or negatives of the game in specific. You're only complaining because it's Ubisoft. So I think that if people can get over the fact that this game is made by Ubisoft and just play it based off of the game itself, this game can become Game of the Year. With everything that's coming out, you got Call of Duty, and other games that have already been out, Horizon Zero Dawn. I think this has a chance, but it's going to need everybody's help for that to happen. There's so many games that are coming out that are awesome and amazing. It's hard to say if it's going to be Game of the Year. It's not really an answer you can, or a question that you can answer right now until everything is out. But this gives me hope. This gives me hope that this is going to be one of the higher rated Assassin's Creed games and one of the best Assassin's Creed games in a long time. So really excited for that. My favorite one, and the only reason I'm not saying that this is my favorite one right now is because I've only played such a small version and I can't be that dumb to say, oh, it's my favorite, even though I've only played 2 sections of it. But my favorite so far is still Assassin's Creed Revelations, because I felt that was the moment that all of the aspects, all of the bugs, the glitches, the things that needed to be out of AC2 and Brotherhood, Revolutions was the pinnacle of Ezio's story, and that's why I like it so much. Because for me, a game, for it to be something favorite of mine, doesn't necessarily have to have the best gameplay, but it has to have the best story and make me feel something. And his final tale and things like that really, you know, sunk in here, and that's why it's one of my favorites. Hellblade would definitely be a special prize. I enjoyed Hellblade so much that is going to be in my top 5 games of the year, period. And I plan on doing a top 10 games of the year at the end of the year, so I know that's going to be my top 5, maybe my top 2 or 3 at this point right now. I do like the new Eagle. It's not Eagle Vision, it's an Eagle, and then there's another thing where you can find loot that are close to you. It's not really Eagle Vision, but it's like a sense that says there's stuff nearby you can mess with, but it's not really considered Eagle Vision. Just because of what you said about people complaining, just because it's a game from Ubisoft, thank you. I hope there's going to be a trilogy, and of course, welcome Andre, welcome to the family, we have cake. I hope there'll be a trilogy, because I'm actually really enjoying Bayek. He's one of the protagonists that I find enjoyable. Everything that he does, the way he talks, he's comical in the ways that need to be. I challenge you to really listen to some of the conversations that he has, and his voice acting is really great, and his character looks authentic. It looks really good, and so I'm excited about that. The walking people stops your full speed driving. Did they mention it being solved in the future? They haven't said anything about it, but it's very true that sometimes when you're on a horse or a camel and you're walking through trying to get to some place, that people who are directly in front of you can stop you. Other times they'll get out of the way, but if they're directly in front of you, they will stop you. So it's not like the previous games where you can just run people over. It's like either they'll stop you or they'll get out of the way. Yeah, so I don't know. Hopefully they address something and they fix that in some way or another, but it's remained to be seen. Hey, Susan Lou. Hey, Susan Lou. We love you. Yeah, I can't wait for the game either. The cake is not a lie, Master. It is not a lie. There is so much cake here. Look. See? There's cake here. I told you it wasn't a lie. Catch. I was going to eat that before I started this live stream, and then I started it and haven't had a chance to. So, do I agree with the new combat system? No. Do I like the new combat system? Yes. And the reason I say I don't agree with the new combat system is because I liked the old combat system. I liked feeling overpowered. But the reason that I like the combat system is it feels like a person that lives in this time period would have the ability to do. It feels like this feels real. It feels like you're a real character and you're not some badass person going around invincible. It feels like, oh my God, this is a person with emotion, with feelings, with, and he puts that into the fighting. You can feel and hear the emotion in the fighting, any more than any other Assassin's Creed game. And that means a lot when you think about it. I mean, it's something that's overlooked, but it means a lot. So, oh, really? Rad Brad got a strike too? Oh, that is so crazy. Yeah, so I just, a lot of us are. So Susie and myself, and now Rad Brad, I guess, have got a strike on YouTube for Uncharted. My first Let's Play video of Uncharted has been copyright striked, and right now my PR person is looking into it. Hopefully she'll get it fixed. But of course, if I get 2 more strikes, the channel's done for. So it's a scary thing. You don't want to get strikes, and if, you know, oh my gosh, it's very scary. And I was very worried. But we all had agreements for posting Uncharted. There were multiple different embargoes. I don't know why they did this, but obviously, from what my PR person told me, Susie, was that the one you had, the embargo that you had, was wrong. The people that gave you that embargo were wrong. and I guess they've been dealt with. This is what my PR person said. There were multiple embargoes out for the game, and people thought they were right, like you, because that's what you received, which is no fault to you. It's to the people that that gave you that information. So there was obviously Sony had going around 2 different embargoes, and some people did early, and that's what you saw. That's why I had to take my videos down, because they didn't want it until 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time last night, and so I just got hit with a copyright today, right before I started live streaming. So it's scary, and I'll try to do my best to get it taken out, and hopefully that'll happen. So my thought on the graphics are they are amazing for an open world game like this. Look at how bright and beautiful the color is, right? And I wasn't even playing on an HDTR TV or HDR TV, but all the colors stand out so well. It looks really good. I already explained pretty much how the combat system is per zone, so you'll probably have to do that. Yeah, Susie, I don't know what to tell you, man. We just had 2 different ones, and hopefully everyone that deserves to get it taken off will, like, especially you and I. Hand-to-hand combat, I have not got to play, Anonymous. Every single time I had items equipped, no longer is it like you press up for your hidden blade and left for a sword and right for, knives or something. It's all your melee weapons are on the right D-pad, and you just press it once to do one set, press it again to switch to the other one, and you switch between the 2. But there was no hand-to-hand combat because I had weapons equipped. So I'm guessing if you actually unequip those weapons, then maybe you could do hand-to-hand combat, but I didn't experience any of that. Yes, you can shoot an arrow at your feet. I don't know why you'd want to do that, or an arrow to the knee, but hey, it's an RPG, so I guess some Skyrim gameplay is going to be involved. I can't give you any news about modern day. I can't. Smoke bombs, I don't know. I haven't experienced any just yet. It's hard to say, because if you remember in Assassin's Creed Syndicate, they were talking about how, like, Alexander Bell invented the smoke bomb. And that's, I don't know if there's going to be smoke bombs or not. It'll be interesting to see. So I guess we'll find out. I don't know. Obviously, there were smoke bombs in Assassin's Creed 2. So, I mean, what I just said is stupid. But I don't know. I didn't see any in the demo that I played, and I can only tell you what I played. So system requirements, they're out there. I don't know exactly what they are. So you'll have to find that out. Well, Susie, I have a little bit less respect for you since you have never played Assassin's Creed. You need to play it. It's really, really fun. Start with 2, though. Can you grow a beard? Yes, I've been slowly growing a beard, but I have to go to drill every now and then because I'm in the U.S. Army, and therefore I'm not able to grow a big one, but I don't have to go to work for 2 months. So I'm going to grow as massive of a beard as I can get for 2 months. Oh, I'm sorry. Were you talking about can you grow a beard in games? Jeez. Wow. I'm so sorry. I was thinking you were asking me if I can grow a beard or not. I thought you cared. As far as I know, you cannot grow a beard. I didn't see anything in the I didn't see anything in the system or menu that said you could. So yeah. I enjoyed, yes, the Ezio trilogy as well. And Curtis, yes, you can whistle. Yes, you can whistle, and it is glorious. The whistle is such an overlooked, beautiful thing when you want to make the enemies come to you. It's amazing. I love the whistle. I love whistle. Yes, Assassin's Creed Origins will be 60 frames a second if you're on PC. If you're on PS4 or you're on Xbox One, it's going to be 30. There you go. I try to answer what I can. I try to be classic. Ride flamingos? You know what? Unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to test any flamingo riding. I think that would have been that's an aspect I felt like I let you down on, because I think flamingo riding is something that a lot of people have been expecting since it's in Egypt, and flamingos were very popular in Egypt. So surprisingly, I didn't get a chance to see, but I'm assuming you can. Why couldn't you ride a flamingo? I mean, come on. It's a flamingo. You should be able to, if you can dance to a flamingo, why can't you ride a flamingo? Shit, you know? Should be in there. Should boycott the game unless you can ride flamingos. Can Sinu die? I don't believe he can die. But it might be a story-related thing. Who knows? But as far as I know, you cannot. You cannot. When will I collab with Susie Liu? Well, I mean, if she would stop shooting me in the back, maybe I would collab with her a lot more. But unfortunately, there's not really a lot of games to do co-op. Call of Duty, if you want to play some Call of Duty. Call of Duty's beta is coming out. I will have that on the channel here soon. That's starting on the 25th. I don't know if Susie, you're going to be able to be involved in that. If you have an Activision PR. Maybe we could do some Call of Duty. We can shoot each other in the back. It'll be fun. The rope launcher, we all thought was going to be there because, you know, obviously if it was in Syndicate, why wouldn't it be 600 years in the past? I mean, that makes sense. Or actually 900, what is it? Oh my God, this is like, no wait, this is like 2,000 years, 2,100 years in the past or something like that. So why is there not, I mean, there should be rope climbing. I would expect there to be rope launcher in the game to be able to go, because how else would you get from the big city building to building in Assassin's Creed Origins? It wouldn't make any sense, right? Coming to Switch in 8K. No, I think Switch is going to be 6K. They're trying to find that balance. So the Nintendo Switch will have up to 6K, PC 4K, because Nintendo Switch is better than the PC in all aspects. So I feel like 6K is a good medium balance for the Nintendo Switch. Do I like chicken? Yes, if it's in the wing variety. I love me some chicken wings. Is there an Animus? I can't tell you. It's NDA. But obviously, come on. PlayStation Plus service to Origin by putting out a free AC game this month. Do you agree? If so, why doing it? Why is that? What? Why is that a bad thing if PlayStation Plus is making... is putting out a free AC game this month? They should do that every time. I mean, come on. They want to get you excited for the Assassin's Creed series. Why not? How do you heal? Well, there's a couple of different ways that you heal, right? So let's say you get a scratch, right? What you do is you get some ointment or some disinfectant. You disinfected it. Make sure that you don't wipe. Make sure that you press slightly, right? And then you wrap it with a bandage, and then you on top of your head you'll put in marker the time of day that you got hurt, so that way the medic knows when to come in and how long you've had the injury or whatnot. I'm just kidding, that's how you do it in the military. But anyways, what's really cool is that when you're jumping off high things and you take damage, or you take damage and do certain stuff, you will limp. And you've probably seen that in some of my gameplay, where I'll jump from a high vantage point and it'll be too far down, and you'll see that I will limp. And you'll limp for a little while. It doesn't last forever. But you will have like a contextual damage on your body that you'll limp and stuff like that if you get hit in those specific areas. I know, in a trailer you can see Rome, so that's why I'm kind of thinking that you're going to be able to play Rome in this, because you saw the games, the Patriot games that they had going on there. So I'm thinking that there's going to be some type of those games that has to do with the arena and stuff like that. Maybe one of the cool things is you go to Rome's Colosseum and be in the arena there. How freaking cool would that be? That'd be so cool. Oh, no worries. I know a lot of people on here aren't necessarily English, so I respect you guys and thank you for speaking English to help me out so that I can understand you better. So thank you for that, for those of you that do not speak English as your first language. And of course, hopefully I'm helping you learn how to speak English better by me talking and using my Western English, and hopefully you guys can understand. But seriously though, hopefully we're helping each other out. Why is it a hype killer? I'm not really understanding what you're saying, Padone. I would totally. If you get a free AC game, why not play it? Hype yourself up for the next Assassin's Creed. I mean, that doesn't make sense to me. But again, we're all different. And so if that's how you feel, hey, power to you. Yes, the Brotherhood mechanic is something I really, really enjoyed. Obviously, there's only a few of us, so I don't know how that's going to be. And our wife is an assassin too, so I don't know. Are we going to start a type of Brotherhood? Are we going to be the leader of the Brotherhood? It's something to tell in the future, and hopefully we'll be able to see that. You can, as far as I know, you can buy things from merchants. I don't know if you can sell things to merchants. Is the game worth buying? From what I've played, and I can only give you from what I've played, yes. 1,000 times yes. From what I played, the history, the gameplay, the feeling, it's all there. So from that alone, I can't recommend this game enough. But we're all different people. Some people might not like one thing or another. If something tells you not to buy it, then don't buy it. But I always like to give a game a chance because you never know what you're going to uncover. Does he have a hideout or Assassin's Creed or Assassin's Base? From what I played, because we were traveling in only certain sections, no. There was not a specific place that had like an Assassin's Den or a Brotherhood hangout location. We were in 2 different cities, and we just went around the city. That's it. I did not see anything that had a lair or a hideout for us in general. I ain't getting salty, green team. Is there going to be a huge Coliseum? Well, there is an arena mode, and from what I've seen, the arena mode will stack up. The first one you get will be a medium-sized, and then you'll have some smaller ones, and then you'll be able to go up to the big, huge ones. And I think it would be really cool if it could all culminate into the Rome Coliseum. I think that would be super amazing, and hopefully that'll happen. I am not awesome. I am me because of you. And hopefully that makes sense. I'm only here because of all of you guys. Without you, I wouldn't have all of this. I wouldn't be able to do what I do. I wouldn't be able to put all this stuff out there and get this information to you and play these games and be a part of your lives. So again, you can say how awesome I am, but you guys are the ones that's awesome. I am just feeding off of the energy that you give me. That's right, Arturo. Watch all my walkthroughs. I got walkthroughs 100% syncs on every game, and I'm working on some of the other ones right now. But definitely let those tide you into the moment that this game releases. Legacy outfits, there will be, but none of that has been showed off yet. I can't talk about the PS4 graphics because I have not seen the PS4 version. We've only got to play the Xbox One X version. Did I control an arrow from the sniper bow mid-flight? If so, how did it feel? Unfortunately, I did not, but that is in the game. There is a specific bow that you can get that allows you to control the bow mid-flight, but I did not get that in the game. So it was not in the demo that I played. I've not seen any commands outside of you controlling yourself. So there's no commands that I've seen outside of that in the game as far as controlling other people or telling people to attack or things like that. How do you feel the softcover system? It seems not polished. Obviously, it's not as polished. Again, you have to remember that this game is not Metal Gear Solid 5 and it's not Shadow of Mordor. This is a new take on RPG Assassin's Creed. So unfortunately, and it is an unfortunate, they've taken out the cover mechanic at all, period. So how you're going to stealth around corners, you just have to be standing around a corner, wait till an enemy comes around, and then try to get them. I know. Some things have to be taken away to add others, so it's a balance that they have to get right, and unfortunately, that's not in it. So, can you pickpocket like other Brotherhood games? No. There was no option to pickpocket anybody, to steal money, to do any of that. There was nothing like that at all. I am going to buy the game releases. So obviously Ubisoft is going to provide me with a copy of the game, but my plan is to also buy a few copies of the game myself and hopefully do a few giveaways for you guys. And the reason I want to do that is because I know how big of a series this can be for me and for the channel. So I want to, do something to show back from you guys. And I'm definitely going to be purchasing this game. There's only a few certain games that I like to purchase for myself. And this series is definitely one of those games that I like to actually buy. There is outfits, and I showed a few off in some different videos, but I'll go in more detail in another future video. Pineapple, thank you for the $5. What is your list of protagonists from most to like, or from most liked to disliked in all the AC games, and your favorite and most disliked antagonists in them? Protagonists. This is how it goes for me. From most liked to dislike is Ezio, Auditore da Firenze, Edward Kenway, Arno, Altair, Evie, Connor, and Jacob. I know I didn't mention what's his name from Rogue, Shay. He'd still be towards the end. I didn't really like his character that much, unfortunately. He just seemed like an asshole to me. I just didn't really like him. Now the other thing goes, let's see, what was it? Let me go back up. The question was my favorite and most disliked antagonist. I gotta really think about this one. My favorite antagonist was, and I'm going through all of the games here real quick. I'd have to say my favorite antagonist is probably Caesar, sorry, not Caesar, Cesare Borgia from Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. I felt like he was the embodiment of a total asshole, total bad guy, no redeeming qualities at all, and it fit Brotherhood so perfectly. So I felt that Cesare was my favorite of all of the villains. My least favorite, it was probably the sage from Unity. I felt like it was stupid, and they deceived you in thinking it was one person, and then it ended up being someone else. But they just didn't do it in a very good manner. So I think the one from Unity is probably my least favorite. There is customization in Unity, but as far as I know, it's not as thorough as it was in Unity, but there's still a lot to be seen, so I have no idea. I can only tell you what I saw, and there was customization as far as shields, the uniform you wore, weapons, and things like that. Do I think it's going to be better than AC2? If people can give it a chance, if people can get over the fact that it's from Ubisoft, then yes, I feel it can be better than AC2. But I think that a lot of people are going to give it hate based solely off of the fact that it's Ubisoft. And because of that, people are going to say it's not better than 2. And that's the only reason why they'll say that. Yeah, I actually not really played Liberation. I love the Chronicle series, but I don't consider them to be a part of my favorite Assassins, you know what I mean? Because we only got to play them for a small period. Exactly, Don. Strangled his own father and poisoned him with an apple, so it's great. He's an instant bad guy. I loved it. I will most likely play Assassin's Creed on PC. I try to play as many games on PC as I can because I want to show you the highest quality as possible. And I feel that showing a game off on PC is going to do that. Now, I want an Xbox One X, but I don't have enough money for it to be able to purchase an Xbox One X to be able to show it off on that. I really do wish, because I definitely want an Xbox One X because I got the PS4 Pro, but I just don't know when I'll be able to get an Xbox One X because unfortunately I'm not one of those big YouTubers that makes thousands of dollars every single month. I mean, I'm barely living here, so I got to keep what I have. Like, I've been needing to upgrade my computer for a couple of months now, and I can't. I can't afford anything. I can't spend any money on anything outside of the things that I absolutely have to live. So it's scary, but you know, when you're trying to live a dream and you take risks, you gotta hold out, and you gotta keep trying. You gotta never give up. You know, never give up, never surrender. Thoughts on fighting with Bayek? I love it. I love the character Bayek and how he's utilized. I love his outfit. I love everything about him so far. I mean, it feels exactly how it should for Assassin's Creed. I'm not sure your question, Bayek0213. What is your Assassin's Creed favorite? My favorite game is Revelations, if that's what you're asking. I pray that it's optimized too. Everyone's going to think they've had 2 years to make this game. That's not correct. They've actually had 4 or 5 years now behind the game. You have to think, and a lot of people don't do this, and this is why a lot of people don't respect games as much as I want them to respect games. Some people, and I'm not saying all of you, but a lot of you out there don't realize that a game is in development for years before it's even announced. This game, Assassin's Creed Origins, has been in development since Black Flag. Think about that. When did Black Flag come out? Anybody? Well, it's going to take you a while because there's a delay. But everyone knows that Black Flag came out in 2013, right? That was 4 years ago. So this game has been in development since then. And the reason I say that is because the lead creative director on that game is the lead creative director on this game. He moved from Black Flag to Assassin's Creed Origins. So this game has been in development for 4 years. It takes a while. Now, what they had was they've been using the same engine, you know, since Unity, and then they used it for Syndicate. This is a completely new engine. This is completely new. So they've changed things up, and there's been a year in between now instead of releasing it every single year. So you're all like, well, they've had 2 years. They've had more time to develop this. Well, even when they were making the games every single year, they still had around the same amount of time to develop the game. They just had more than one studio making a game at a time. So when Unity was being made, Syndicate was being made already, and it was already been in development. So you have to think about games like that, okay? So don't think about it as two-dimensional. There's so much more to game making than just what you see. Usually a game is announced a year or earlier before it comes out, and then you think, oh my gosh, this is a buggy mess. Even that buggy mess had years of development, and even getting it to that point of that buggy mess is still a long time. Games are not just made. You just don't hear about them until they're almost about ready to come out. Just like a GTX 1080 Ti, right? It's probably been in development, getting it ready to go for a while, but it's not announced until a week before it's coming out. Obviously, you guys know how the world works now, but a lot of people just fail to remember that. So, am I getting sponsored? No, I'm not sponsored by Ubisoft or by anything like that. I do have I am a part of a program that they have called the Influencer Program, meaning that there's a small group of us that they send out to every event that they do that gets to play these things like this and show it off to you guys. I am a part of that, but they do not pay for me. They do not give me money to say good things about something. They do allow me and send me to these events, but that's it. They don't give me money to say one thing or another, and they don't tell me I can't say anything negative about the game. They're very good. Ubisoft is one of the best when it comes to PR and treating us influencers the way that we should be treated because of the fact that we are free PR. So I just played this game, right? And they're going to send me a copy of the game. They sent me out. Let's say they sent me out to this pre-Gamescom event, and they gave me a hotel. God, son of a... Green team, are you kidding me, bro? You've done way too much already, and here you are, freaking sending me $100. Oh. Unfortunately, YouTube is going to get a cut of that because you did it in a super chat. The thing with super chat is you don't get that money until the month that you get paid for YouTube, which is going to be in 2 months from now, and then YouTube will get a cut of that. But I still thank you so much for that. If you're ever going to donate something that high, I definitely recommend the donation page on my stream jar or whatever. But I digress. Thank you so much, Green Team. I love you, bro. You're way too amazing for anything. But yes, so that will definitely go towards hopefully me getting an Xbox One X. And thank you for that. You are amazing. He has donated so much, and he is, I mean, he has his own life and stuff like that. So thank you so much for that, man. You really helped me out in so many ways. Wow. That was very nice of you, brother. All right, so and now I can't even remember what I was saying. There's a lot of weapons in the game. A lot. Gosh, what was I saying? Man, you got my... I was saying something. What was I talking about, people? Please help me out. I can't remember. Seriously this one, you're going to ask me if Bayek is a transsexual? What kind of world are we living in here? I'd like them to go to Rome, to be honest. I think the next setting should be Rome. And I'm not talking Rome in the 1500s. I'm talking ancient Rome. Colosseum, all of that stuff. I mean, that's what I want to see. I will be getting Origins for free. Ubisoft will most likely send me a copy for free. But I also want to pay for it myself to send out copies and do giveaways for you guys. That's one game I definitely want to do. The combat is not easy. It takes skill. Like Dark Souls. Or it takes actual skill. You got to dodge right. You got to do this and do that. I mean, it's amazing. Oh, yes. Thank you. I was talking about the PRs and marketing dealing with YouTubers. We are free PR in terms. So they might spend $1,000 to send me out to San Francisco, because I live in Atlanta, send me out to San Francisco to play this game. Send $1,000. Okay? And they also provide the game. But we are free PR. My gameplay has a huge effect on a lot of people deciding whether or not they want to pick up a game or not. So in turn, they could be selling hundreds of copies of their specific game because a YouTuber, someone showed off their game in a good light that made people want to buy it. So, and I feel like my channel has done pretty good at that. My channel has done pretty good at showing how this game can be played and how it can be done in a way that is enjoyable and how you can get the most out of the game itself. So because of that, that's why we're able to go to these events and they'll pay for these events. And because we are in turn selling them a lot more copies because of the channels that we have and the people that we can reach. As far as I know, outfits do not do anything with stats. Well, the Bloodborne is the same thing as Dark Souls as far as combat goes. So obviously nothing is going to beat For Honor's combat because I love that style of combat. And I think it would have been really cool if they would have put it in Assassin's Creed. But because of the openness of the game, it would have been impossible because you can't have like 20 enemies fighting you at the same time and then have For Honor's combat. Are the animals challenging to fight or are they easy like a lot of other games out there? They are a challenge. Just look at some of the videos that I have done where they some of the crocodiles or the hippos or the bears would take over half my health. They're actually they're hard to dodge because they have such a long reach more than regular humans that you're fighting. So it's a lot harder to dodge them. So yes, they can do a lot of damage to you. No, what I'll probably do for the giveaway is there'll be codes, and whoever will win, whatever choice that you want, I will provide you with a code for that system. That's how I'll do the giveaways. As far as prostitutes go in this game, I haven't seen any prostitutes. So, I don't know. I couldn't tell you. Strain versus Camel, who would win? Well, I like to think that Camel would win, but... I think that would be really, really cool. Hezekiah is because of how far back the game is. Now, if you all know where Egypt is, and I'm sure a lot of you guys do, that area around Egypt, it's not that big to go to Jerusalem and all that kind of, all those places around there. And this is before, this was before, you know, Jesus and all of that stuff. And I know a lot of you out there maybe not necessarily believe in that, so I don't want to get into that kind of stuff. But I think it would be cool if there was some type of, you know, I mean, it would be cool to see little nods to that stuff. But because so many people believe in so many different religions, it's really hard to get into. Trust you, a random guy on the internet said he was friends with the game's director, said Bayek is a transsexual and he cheated on Aya with Julius Caesar. You guys are awesome. I love you. I love you so much. I can't tell you about anything about present day story. Unfortunately, I have no news or info on Splinter Cell. Trust me, I'm asking the devs every single day, and they can't tell me anything. As far as I know, there's only one hidden blade, but I've heard people say there's two, but I don't know the merit in that. But as far as I have seen, one hidden blade. There is, so as far as an option to roll, I haven't seen an option to roll, but also I don't know if you jump and then you press the B button to roll, or excuse me, the A button to roll. I don't know if you'll roll or not. That's something I never tried out. Thank you for that, and the next time I play it in a few weeks, I will give it a shot. Hello, Enemio Takukun. Sorry if I said your name wrong. You guys have some amazing names. I'm hoping that we learn about Eagle Vision. I'm hoping that that plays some type of something to that effect in the game. I think that'll be really, really cool. Yeah, so is the gameplay more fluid than the previous games? Gameplay does feel more fluid. It's the combat's not going to feel fluid, and that's because it's real combat. It's not the fluid animations that you got in the previous ones where you can go from one kill to the next. That kind of fluid. It's totally different. But the gameplay itself does feel very fluid. English Van, I think that would be pretty cool. Hopefully we'll get to see Bayek from when he's a kid growing up to an adult, because I really want to get invested in the character, and if that's the case, then we'll get to see where he meets his beloved, his betrothed, and she's also an assassin too, so we'll get to see that story unfold between them, so hopefully that'll be something really cool. As far as my personal things about the game, there's just a few things, and that's that cover system, really. But they've done such a good job to make the game feel so great. What is my connection with Rockstar? I don't have a connection with Rockstar. Well, Kimmy, it's understandable that they mentioned Christ in the first game because it had to do with the Knights Templar and all that stuff, which is rooted around that religion. So it's understandable why they did that. But I do agree that religion should be taken out of all games. But because of the setting Egypt is in, this should be focused on Egypt's religion. It should be focused on the game's setting in general and what people believed back then. But as far as religious things in games, period, I don't like to get into that because I just, it's, you know, everyone is different and I respect all cultures and all beliefs. I definitely can tell you that another Splinter Cell is being made. MD Yisin. But when is it going to be released? We don't know, and we don't know when the information is going to come out. But it is being made. You'll be able to, I'll tell you how to do the giveaway and stuff like that later when it comes up to it, so no worries on that. There is no multiplayer in this, Tharuka. AC Origins does not remind me of AC1 at all. It has a completely different feel than AC1. Oh, you're talking about the truth. Is it going to have like the truth thing? I don't know. We haven't seen that since that game, so I don't know. That'd be interesting. Well, it was in Brotherhood, I think. Yes, I was referring to that scene with Christina in AC2 as well. CGI trailer was amazing, except for the one that had that spoken thing. I didn't like the music for that, but the cinemas are awesome. But the latest one they put out today, that cinema trailer was awesome. That's the one that I saw at the pre-event, and that's where I first got to see Julius Caesar and Cleopatra, and I was so happy. I will be playing Origins again within the next month. I don't know exactly when. I just know that it's going to be within the next month. There's going to be another event, and I'll have more footage. So, I hope not. I do not, Ninja Star. I do not want dual hidden blades, because this is the first assassin. This is the beginning. I do not feel there should be double hidden blades. If we didn't get double blades until Assassin's Creed 2, then I don't feel that it should be in this game. You don't have to have 2 hidden blades to feel like an assassin, you know? I'm not sure what her title is, Padone. My favorite bow was the Predator bow so far, and the Hunter bow, which was the long-ranged, massive damage bow. You can take out enemies in one shot to the head with the bow, and the Predator is just like a pow 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 pow. Awesome stuff. I don't know anything about his family yet. They haven't went into that. This is kind of his Bayek story, the founder of the story, so I'm sure there's going to be some Creed in it. There's going to be some making of the Creed, I think. How they do it, I don't know. Hopefully it'll be fun to watch, though. I only did the new control system, and it felt perfectly fine once I got used to it. Very intuitive. I never want to play an Assassin's Creed game again where the only way I can run is to hold the RT button. I like the new system way better. Yes, there is controlled descent, and that's done just like it was in the previous games, where you'll hold down the B button or the circle button, depending on what console you're on, and you will descend fast while you're pressing up or down. Yes, I loved Assassin's Creed Lineage, but I also liked Assassin's Creed the movie too. I know a lot of people didn't like it per se, but I enjoyed it. With a movie, it's harder to get across in a 2-hour time period what the history of Assassin's Creed is. And unfortunately, it's not going to go over well with a lot of people. But I enjoyed it. I thought Michael Fassbender did a great job. And I just wish there was more of in the past sequences in that movie than there was. Because the movie was like, mostly in the future. Sam Fisher is coming back. What would I want to happen in the modern day? This is what I would want to happen in the modern day. Simple as this. I would want that Desmond somehow comes back, or we are playing as Desmond's son. That is what I want in the modern. So Desmond has a son. How much in the future is this going to be? So obviously his son would need to be older, or they can find a way to recreate Desmond or have him come back. That's what I want. Because Desmond, to me, is the modern day. And every single time we play a no-name, stupid person in the future modern section, it diminishes from the amazingness that this game can provide for you. And I feel that this game can be so much more if you have a reason to care about the person who is behind, everything. And that is... Desmond or Desmond's son, for my case. That's what I want. Exactly. Do it well, Don, or don't do it at all. And hopefully they've listened. Trust me, I've talked to the creative director of it, and he knows that they want to get that section, that part of the game right. So, you know, I have a lot of faith. About the new fight system, the only thing that I can tell you that I've already talked about it previously, but it's fun, it's challenging, and you're going to die a lot more. So respect that, learn from it, and you will enjoy it. Dude, it felt amazing to be at the top of those pyramids. And the pyramids that I explored at the top of was a small pyramid. It was a very small one. There's other ones in the background that are just massive. And I'm talking like way up there. And it's not going to be easy to get up there. There are going to be a lot of challenges that you have to do in order to get up there. So I don't know. I at first when I heard you're going to be able to scale pyramids, I was like, so what? That doesn't mean anything. I mean, it's just a pyramid. But after actually scaling the pyramid, it hit me, the rush of what I was actually doing, and I felt like I was in that time period. I've never been to Egypt, and I've always wanted to go, so I've never experienced the pyramids and stuff like that. And I don't know, I felt like there's so much potential in that. Sliding down it was so fun. Just to slide down the pyramid. I mean, that was cool as well. And turning it to nighttime, looking up at the sky and the moon and the stars in the sky. And they've got that cool mechanic where you've got puzzles that you have to solve via the stars. So there's so many cool activities to do. I didn't see any activities like chess games or card games or anything like that in the demo that I played. Customization was pretty deep for an RPG. Obviously, all of it's not there yet. Lots of skills to upgrade, lots of weapons, and different shields and stuff like that. There was not a meter for finishers. It was once an enemy gets down and then your specific hit finishes them off, then you'll get a finisher. Otherwise, you'll just get a strike and then they'll die. Torch works very simple. You hold down the right direction pad, your torch comes out. You can use it as a weapon to wave around, like say if snakes are around you. You can throw it at enemies to catch them on fire. You can place it on the ground, dip your bow in it, and then use that as a way to fire your weapon or your bow. And you can just throw it, I don't know when the next event is. I just know that it's going to come up soon. Maybe we'll get to see the build of the pyramids. If you've seen the new trailer, we saw the fast build of the pyramids when Cleopatra, when it was showing her. So it would be fun to play different time periods and see that stuff. I think it would be pretty cool. The graphics, I think, are not an upgrade at all. And the reason I say that is because this is an open world game, so if anything, they've probably went down. But for the open worldness of the game, it's beautiful and amazing. I feel like this game, for the color, stands out so much more than any other game in the Assassin's Creed series. And I think a lot of you can agree that if you look and you see the color of the environments, and it really, just pops. I think it'd be cool if we had a pre-Desmond thing. Who knows when the modern day is going to be set? Nobody knows, right? So I think it'd be cool. There's really not much more I can say about Sinew. You'll have different abilities to do, distracting enemies, using him as a weapon, things like that, and marking enemies, of course. I don't know if Bayek is going to be able to do those normal things like sleep, safe house, things like that. I don't know. There is a wait timer, so you go from night to day at a click of a button, and he kind of sits there and meditates. But as far as him doing normal human things, I haven't seen yet. Do you know if Ubisoft is going to do a big launch event like they did with Unity? I do not know, but like I said, I do know that they have another event planned for us right before release. But as far as a pre-launch event, I'm not sure. This is definitely going to be their biggest release of the end of the year, so I'm hoping that they're going to have and respect the series and do something that's going to get people's attention. I mean, we all hope that. But as far as if I've talked to them about something like that, no, I have not. I don't know. I do think it has the best parkour. Stealth, no. Honestly, I feel that Syndicate had the best stealth to me. And using Eevee. But this game is an RPG now. It's not specifically a stealth game, so stealth is not going to be your best bet anymore. So yes, there are rewards for completing tombs, and I'll have some videos of some tombs that I'm going to go through here the next few days. And I'll have a video of some puzzles and things like that I'm solving where you get a special reward and things like that for completing. I'm sure it'll look badass. I mean, so far all of the uniforms that I've seen have looked really cool, and they felt a part of the game and a part of the world. Whereas, like, say, in Assassin's Creed Unity, there was so much customization and so many different uniform types, but they didn't really feel like they were a part of the world. I feel like all the clothes that we're going to be wearing is something that someone actually made. It feels that it was made. You know what I mean? No mention yet on the Pieces of Eden, but you obviously know that there's going to be some Pieces of Eden being found in the game because it's Assassin's Creed. Unfortunately, I didn't get to experience any rain gameplay in the game because what we saw was sunny or nighttime, specifically just for the demo. So if I do get a chance to see that in the future, I will definitely let you know. It's not that they took away Eagle Vision, Ahmed. It says this is the first eagle that Eagle Vision is based off of, so you actually get to use the eagle. How cool is that? Thank you so much, Farouk. I appreciate that. I try to make this channel as great as I can, and hopefully everyone enjoys. Size of the game is huge. The area map, I mean, it's all huge. What you've seen is that big to a world that is huge. It's truly amazing. Green Team, I'm going to be stopping the live stream here in a little bit. You have a question that you want answered or specific or something? Because we've already been going for... I didn't expect to go 3 hours now. Sorry if I've bored some of you here. But I just want to get some of these questions out and give you guys as much information from what I've played as I can. But the game world is massive. I mean, massive. And I explained earlier that when you're in the specific map, it's huge, right? And then you zoom out just a little, and then that map is small. And you're like, oh, okay. And then you zoom out more, and it's a little smaller, and you're like, oh, okay. And then you zoom out again, and it's like, holy shit! You know? I mean, it's freaking massive. That would actually be funny, Ninja Star, if you could take a crap on enemies. No, Cyber, you cannot, or Cypher, Mark, you cannot assassinate enemies that are more than, I want to say, 4 levels above you. If they're in between 4 levels above or any below you, you can assassinate them. But if they're way above you, that means they are a heavy armored enemy, and you will not be able to assassinate them. Yeah, the stream's going to be over in just a few, so... I know, I'm so boring. Why would I just talk for 3 hours? It's because I love you guys, okay? I'm sitting here because of all the support you've already given on the Assassin's Creed videos that I put out, and I want to give you as much of that as possible, which is why I got so many more videos coming, and I wanted to spread all the information that I can and give it to you guys, because you deserve it. You need to know about this stuff, and I want to explain it to you, and I want you to know so that you can have a good warm and fuzzy when you get the game. My all-time favorite game is GoldenEye from the Nintendo 64. This is finally what they're doing, is you can do any mission any way that you want. So there is no more optional objectives that hinder the 100% synchronization. There is no timer. You can literally spend hours in Sinew mode. You can literally go from one side of the huge open world to the other side as Sinew and do nothing else. There is no specific distance that you can do it. It's just when you have Sinew, fly. So yes, Green Team, you're right. You will be able to assassinate enemies that are higher level than you if you upgrade your hidden blade more. So think of as every item in the game has a specific hit value. Originally, your hidden blade has a specific hit value. So if you're going up against an enemy that is lower than you, that hit value is always going to be more than their health. And that's because when you do the hidden blade, mostly you do it in their neck, right? So you're like getting kind of like a headshot, kind of an instant kill. But when you go up against enemies that have a higher hit points, well, you're still getting that amount that you were got for the hidden blade, but you're no longer getting the kill because their hit points are higher than that hidden blade. So you can upgrade your hidden blade so that it has more damage. Therefore, you can get higher enemies. But you're not going to be able to, as far as I know, like if you're going up against an enemy that's like 20 levels higher than you, which I don't know a situation you'd be in, you know, in that case, obviously. Strain, do I have something you want to tell us? I've been telling you everything. I found a lot of Easter eggs, and again, I'll show you some of that stuff in the Hidden Tombs. There is no creating a character, like in terms, I mean, Bayek is, you've never been able to create a character in Assassin's Creed. Did I say Hidden Blow? Yeah. Don, they've released the minimum requirements, so just go to the assassinscreed.com and you should be able to find the information you need. The funny thing is, if I remember correctly, your wife is the assassin from the tomb in Assassin's Creed 2, from the historical assassins. So it could be, you know, I don't know how the ending's going to be, but yeah, it could be like you teach her everything and then she carries on your legacy. I don't know. No one knows the ending. No one knows any of that stuff. So you cannot use Sinew in tombs. And the reason I say that is because I tried and it wouldn't let me do it. Just like you can't get a horse in tombs. Beard growth or change color of outfits I have not seen, so I do not know. Obviously, everything needs a little bit more work. A little bit more polish is always going to be better for a game before released. But at the same time, you got to come to a point where if you try to add one thing, it could screw something else up. So you got to find the balance to make it to where everything is working the best that it can without screwing one thing or another up. Thank you, Clayton, for watching, and hopefully you enjoyed. I'm glad you're here, brother. The hidden blow would send to the ground even the toughest of enemies, possibly in disgust. But the hit value is extra high, per se. Nice one, Padone. Aging throughout the game, I'm not sure because I don't know the timeline of the game. We've only seen a specific timeline. So far, everything that I've collected was not stupid or meaningless. It had a purpose, either used for crafting, used for weapons, upgrading, or things like that. I don't know if there's multiple player characters, because so far you can only play as Bayek. I don't know if the sandstorm can kill you. From what I have played, I would say okay, I'll tell you this. If I could rate my favorite Assassin's Creed game, but only base this off the little bitty amount that I played, this would be my favorite Assassin's Creed game, period. But again, I don't want to do that, and Revelations still is, because I don't know how the game is going to be in the end. We don't know. So I want to play the full game before I make the decision of saying this is my favorite Assassin's Creed game. Thanks for stopping by, Animo. Character controls very well, very fluid. A little bit of a slight delay, but not as much as some of the previous games. I will upload this game 100%. This game is going to get a lot of videos because you guys clearly want to see all of this stuff, and I want to make sure to get everything out to you. So this will be all side missions, all tombs, all everything. I will get a review copy of this game. Compared to the Witcher 3 map, because I've only been able to beat it 2 different places and I haven't been able to go through the entire map, I can't tell you if it's bigger than the Witcher 3, but it is massive. Massive. I am liking the controls and combat system so far. As far as I know, it does not have assassins who can come in and help you like Brotherhood did. How would the double assassination look if it's the first assassin? Well, he kills you with his blade and then he throws a knife at you. That's the double assassination. Does weather affect the gameplay? It's going to, but in the demos that we've seen, not yet. But it will affect the gameplay. This is also the beginning of the Templars, yes. Can you? I don't know if you can use them in a sandstorm, Sinew, because I haven't seen a sandstorm yet. That's no problems, Badone. Thank you for the subscription, Shadow Wolf. And remember, guys, if you are subscribing for the first time and you're brand new, there are plenty of other walkthroughs that I have, 100% completion of games and stuff that I've done on many, many different types of games that you might find enjoyable on the channel. So if you're only subscribing for Assassin's Creed, give the channel a look, and I promise you might also find something else that you're interested in. And for those of you out there, thank you to everybody for watching. I've tried to answer as many questions as I can. If you have any other questions, put them in comments on the videos that I put out for Assassin's Creed Origins, and I'll do my best to answer them as much as I can. Other than that, thank you guys so much for watching. This has been an amazing experience for me to be able to talk with all of you and get all of these questions answered. And hopefully I was able to do so in a timely manner and something enjoyable for you to watch. Thanks, guys. I love you all. I will have plenty more Assassin's Creed Origins footage coming up in the next few days. They're just going to be rolling out along with all my other stuff going on. So again, thank you for watching. And of course, I will see you next time. Peace out.